This is the Final Round Podcast, coming to you live from the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
You're on there because when I started making this thing, I made sure that your picture was there.
Oh, you're
That's
sweet.
why.
I love them.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Final Round Drag Racing Podcast, episode number 21, back in the familiar confines of the North Park building here at Academy Square in Seneca Falls. We had our adventure to Empire Dragway last week, and it was an adventure to say the least. I feel bad for the guys that did the live stream from Empire. They had the same woes that we did. We were able to save a local recording of everything. That has all been uploaded. So episode 20 is now no longer the Godzilla type episode where frames are dropped and mouths don't match with the words. Everything has been fixed, and that's all uploaded. All the links have been repaired as well. It's feeding to the appropriate video as well. This episode, I've been looking forward to it since we started it. Jason Oldfield bumped into a longtime friend of mine over at Empire Dragway over the weekend, and there it is. I had to find it. And we finally, 21 episodes in, have Hot Rod, Rodney McNeil, joining us here in the studio. Rodney, man, thanks for coming in. And
Thank you,
it's good to see you.
Nice to see you, Chris. Very nice.
Rod's photo is something like the fifth picture in the opening sequence. It's the burgundy Camaro, and it says Rod McNeil right on the side very clearly. And Rodney's originally from Geneva, which is right here in the Finger Lakes, and then went to Ontario, which is where you were living when I met up with you. Now you got a place in Irondequoit.
Yeah, I moved to Irondequoit.
So
and
that's
just hanging out, enjoying. Went to the races with Phil, Jason. Had a good time at the races, though. Very good show. It was a good show. Very good.
Yeah, I mean, if you're into Sportsman drag racing, it's definitely an interesting show for sure. Yeah, it's definitely entertaining. There's no doubt. But,
yeah,
it is a Sportsman drag race for sure. It's there's no pros there, but there is some good top sportsmen, fast top sportsmen and top dragster cars there still. But what's nice about the Sportsman racing is you do get the variety. You get hot rod, super rod, and quick rod, but you still get the super stock as well. So yeah, it was definitely a good show. It was entertaining for sure.
Yeah, I was impressed. It was a good show. I mean, it's getting me the urge, like Phil said, to get back into it a little bit. So we've been dabbling in the last week. So just gonna hang out and check out things for the next couple, 3-4 weeks.
I say, did you hear that, Chris? So Phil Harnden stuck the needle in Rod's arm and broke it off.
Yes, well, a lot of guys did. It's just, you know what, you miss it. You miss the whole thing about drag racing.
It's hard.
Drag racing has just been very special. I always liked it. I mean, I wasn't the best guy out there, but I had a great time and a lot of great friends. And,
right.
It was good to see, Chuck Camillo's there, and it's just a lot of really nice people to talk to. I had a great time.
And I've heard stories and talked to guys, the guys that once they quit decided that you know what, I can't go back because I know darn well that if I go back, I'm going to want to be out there every single week with my buddies racing. And I will say that that's one thing overall. I mean, I am there to win when I'm racing, but I have figured out as I've gotten older in life that I don't do this for a living. I don't do it for the money. I'm out there to have fun. And, the time in the race car is very limited, really, when you break it down, the amount of time you spend at the track for a weekend. It's like, so what makes it interesting? Well, it's hanging around your buddies.
Hanging around.
So, yeah, that is the enjoyable part. Now, if you just remove the aggravation of the car, not working the way you want or the driver not working the way you want,
right.
It'd be a lot more fun.
Hey, at least it went straight this time, right?
No.
Oh.
No, it was a real adventure this weekend. The car was not doing what we wanted, and on Saturday, I just couldn't believe Saturday first round. I got quick treed, and I was late, and my competitor Doug Linden was late.
But you weren't red?
On Saturday, I was not red, no.
Right. So
Sunday I was, but not Saturday.
I should have let you get there.
Well, yeah. Well, see, on Sunday, I decided that I wasn't going to allow the track to quick tree me again.
Yeah.
So I decided to drive the car into the stage beams at 30 miles an hour all day, and eventually, second round, it bit me. I drove it in a touch too far and went fourth out red. but that's what happens. But I didn't get quick treat, so
Perfect. Yep.
It's amazing, though, how good these kids are driving nowadays. Very, very good drivers. I mean, the lights they cut is amazing.
Consistency.
Very consistent.
Yeah.
I mean, bring up Pete Dagnola.
Yep.
That boy can drive a race car.
Oh, yeah.
He can drive. He amazed me.
Well, and there were multiple guys from this weekend. I'm looking at the list here just quickly. There were
Well, Pete was going from his Malibu to
Yeah.
his mod car, and it was
Which I'm into the super stock side, but he got in the car. It was like, he's like a robot. I mean, he's that good. I mean, man, I would love to come back to racing. I know I can't do it no more myself. It's impossible. But to find a driver like that, it's a home run.
right. Well, I mean,
If I had a car and money, I'd hire him.
so. Just to be clear, that if you could get a car, you would be looking for someone just to drive it.
Oh, I'm definitely. Like I said,
Is it if you get a car or when you get a car? Because there's a big difference between.
Well, we're working on that right now.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have a couple. Me and Phil have been. He's trying to get me back in it, and I really liked it. Like I said, I was in the hot
When you
rod-
get the car, are you still planning on renting out Spencer's Dragway so that you can have driver auditions with it? Is it still? Were you still planning on doing that?
the Spencer.
It's closer to you.
Do I want? No. I want to. Like I said, what I want to do if I get, I'm swinging it right now. Is you're going to get me off track. I'd love to go super stock racing, but it's too hard, And I enjoy the people traveling and all that, but I've been thinking about. I found a couple cars in Ohio and a couple places, and
If there's one thing about Rodney is always patient with his money. We talked about that last time we were in the studio about if you're patient with your money, you can be a good deal.
Oh, yeah.
And
it's got to be a good deal.
Yeah.
But like I said, if I could afford or have enough money, I'd try to hire Pete because I think he could make you money and he could make money for something. And you know what I mean? I really do.
Oh, there's
I
no
mean,
doubt.
he's making money now. I mean, I started checking him out, and when I was this week, I went through a lot of stuff the last couple of days. That boy can drive.
Oh, there's
I
no
mean, there's
doubt.
there's a lot of drivers out there great. I mean, Fletcher's good. All these guys are good, but he just has that little edge over everybody. You can see it.
There's no doubt that Pete is an extremely good driver, but I was going to go back and just look at the list of the winners from this weekend. So I don't have all the winners from Saturday, but so on Sunday, Jim Fix beat John Hayek in stock. John Hayek won stock on Saturday. Paige Montgomery, now this is a junior dragster. Paige Montgomery beat Zach Vitez in the juniors on Sunday. I'm pretty sure she beat him on Saturday as well. Patrick Nuzzo beat Tony Fabiano on Super Rod on Sunday. Tony Fabiano was in the finals on Saturday as well. Billy Ryan beat John Jablonski in Hot Rod on Sunday. Billy Ryan was in the finals on Saturday. I think, Pete Dagnola won Super Stock. He was actually in the finals on Saturday. So he was on the finals on Saturday, and he won on Sunday. And I'm not sure about Quick Rod. I think Pete Maduri Jr., who was our guest on last week's show from the track, he was a finalist on Saturday, another young guy. I don't know how he did on Sunday, but the number of drivers that repeated on both days was incredible. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what, are you kidding me? I'm like, every single class you had a guy that was, I don't think anybody doubled up. I'm not 100% sure of that. But it was incredible to me that you had people that were in the finals on both days. And then if you look at the list of drivers, I don't think there's John Hayek might be, I guess Tony Fabiano's probably the senior citizen of that list, and he's probably in his mid-40s. Otherwise, all those guys, they're all young.
They're all young.
I mean, what I would call young kids. I guess I shouldn't necessarily say that. Some
You
of them
guys are all young. You got to hang out with me a little more. You'll find out how old it is.
But some really good drivers in that list. Again, Pete Maduri Jr., I mean, he's won some big races this year. Just another good driver, Billy Ryan. Heck, I will say that I'm not even sure how much he's had his car out this year. And here he goes into Hot Rod and wins one day and runner-ups the other. It's incredible how good and what the level of competition is out there.
It's very strong. Not like when I raced. I mean, it was strong then, but now these kids are just fantastic. I mean, they're just, they're just really great drivers. And they're very focused, very focused.
Right.
I mean, I watch it. It's just amazing how focused they are.
Well, it is, and I will say it was a little bit different. I mean, when you did most of your racing, it was certainly you had some was driver, but you had a lot was the equipment as well. So if you weren't a good tuner or you didn't know how to prepare your car, such as in super stock or modified, stuff like that, it's like you could be the best driver in the world. You were not going to win trying to go to the track with inferior equipment, if you will, right?
Yeah. The only thing I wish I could go back and just quit trying to go faster and concentrate on how to make the car react better and cut a better light. That's what my mistake was. If I ever go back, I definitely make a big difference in that part.
Well, we're working on that now. Right?
Yeah, everybody's calling me up saying we're going to work at it. I said, okay, we'll figure it out.
Has Chris ever want to drive a race car?
Have I ever wanted to?
Yeah.
Tons of times. I've won the Daytona 500 35 times on my big wheels. You know what I mean?
He's like me.
I've always wanted to. I've heard Rodney talk about, if we can get a car, when he moved from his house in Ontario to Irondequoit, they had to have an excavator. You should have seen this. They had an excavator. They leveled the house after he moved out of it to dig all the milk cans. There was 40, 50 milk cans full of moldy $20, $100 bills that they excavated out of the basement.
I wish there were, Chris. I really do. I definitely go back. Like I said, we'll see what happens down the road. Like I said, these kids are so great. If I could find, like I was telling Phil, if I could find somebody maybe to work with, a team up with, and it'd be a good thing to go back and go full circle again, to go back to what I really enjoyed.
Right.
And racing was my main thing, especially drag racing.
Right.
So
now,
it'd be good.
Prior to, well, I guess I shouldn't say prior. After drag racing, at that point in time, that's when you got into the hot rods and.
Yeah, what happened was I quit drag racing and I went back to the dirt cars, working with Jack Spanel and them and helping out. And I loved it. It was a great job. I met Chris and a lot of people through that. And like I said, the fans were awesome on dirt. I mean, they were very nice people, very, very. And the drivers, I loved every driver at a dirt track. I mean, I really liked them. If I could have, like I said, if I was a millionaire, I'd probably buy a dirt track and have a drag car because I like them two of my favorite two things.
Right.
Yeah. So, but then I went to the hot rod because just something happened on the period of the road at dirt, and I just left. And my mom passed away, so I built a hot rod. And there's nothing like building your own car. Like my drag car, I built that. I mean,
you built that car all on your own.
90% of it. Then I had it redone a couple times, like from a couple builders helped me out, which was great. I missed that, but I like, what it is? I like all sports, especially dirt cars, asphalt cars, mainly drag cars and dirt. They're my favorite too out of the bunch. And a hot rod is really cool. So like I said, full circle would be going back to drag racing.
So many toys, so little money and time.
That's
right?
the thing. You look at everything, the things you'd like to have. Like I was telling Chris a long time ago, when I was hanging out at dirt, I said I always wanted to own Canandaigua Speedway or something like that.
Yeah.
And I always would, because I think there's a good future if somebody would open up the gate a little bit more. But I'll never know because it's never going to happen now.
Yeah.
But,
well, I know I've had the discussion with my son about you have to pick and choose. Unless you're independently wealthy. I mean, if you're like the woman that just won the $750 million Powerball, okay, great, yeah, you can go have everything you want. But aside from that, you're going to have to pick and choose the toys you want. And you're going to have friends that are into airplanes, you're going to have friends that are into boats, friends that are into snowmobiles, and you're not going to be able to do them all.
Can't do them all.
Even though you'd like to, you'll find yourself broke very, very quick. And that's where you really got to find, all right, what's my passion? And if the passion is drag racing, all right, great, go do that. If it's hot rods, go do that.
Yeah.
And if you're really lucky and you're financially well off enough, all right, you can have a hot rod and a drag
You
car.
can do both.
But then it even gets to the point where it's like I thought about getting a hot rod myself. It's like I'd love to have something that I could go and take the kids and go get ice cream in, and then I think about it for a couple of seconds. I'm like, and where am I putting this thing?
Yeah,
I have no room at my house. So my hot rod's gonna be parked outside in the driveway all winter because the race car's in the garage.
Yeah.
So now you get yourself a hot rod. You got to go buy a new house too. So
you got to buy a bigger garage.
Right.
You got to have something bigger. Everything gets bigger.
Right.
Toys get more. I just sold my hot rod, which it bothers me because
how long did you have that car?
Almost 10 years.
Okay.
And I had a lot of fun, traveled with it, cruised around, won a lot of awards.
That's the Bel Air, right?
Yeah, Bel Air. And it was fun. And when I got rid of it, it was like I wanted to sit down and cry. It was probably the worst feeling I had in my life. But there's something down the road to do. And like I said, that's why I went with Phil to drag racing, and that's my passion. I mean, my two passions are that and dirt. So I have to look at what I can have fun with.
You could buy a dirt team, do that.
No, I have somebody wants to put their car. I got somebody who wants to put their car in my shop this winter.
I wish the camera would have been on Chris when he was doing that.
No, it's everybody has passions to do certain things, and that's my two.
Yeah.
If I'd have won that lottery last night, look out. Look out. Yeah, well, the Academy would love me.
Yeah, you and me both. Now, the Camaro, let's go back.
Yeah.
Because I honestly don't know a lot about your history. When did you start racing?
Oh, God. I went the first drag race when I was 15. I went to Savannah, where Chris's dad and me were hook up Sunday, South Butler. I went with a bunch of friends and cousins. They raced.
Now, is that where you met Phil? Did you meet Phil out at South Butler?
No, I met Phil, probably about when I was 23.
Okay.
23 it was. So I raced. Then when I got older, I bought a 69 Dart Swinger.
Yeah.
And I raced that.
Okay.
And one day I happened to come across a body in Rochester, an old Camaro, 68 Camaro body, so I bought it with no motor, and I had to bring it home with a chain. We chained it home.
Okay.
We chained it home.
Yeah.
And I brought it home and started working on it. And back then, I put a ladder bar underneath it. And
now, what year was that?
Oh, golly, I brought that home in 79.
Okay.
Yeah, 79. I put ladder bars on it and put a cage in it, in my buddy's shop. I did it there. And I'm not a good welder, but back then they got away with a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
And did a motor, just a little one, and raced it at, matter of fact, the first races I went to was Spencer, and we went to Utica, Rome with it, and we used to go to Cicero.
Uh-huh.
That's it. We used to do that on the weekends.
Yeah.
And then
Chris has got a picture of the Camaro up from Indy.
We went bigger and bigger. Then racing away from home, I wasn't the best driver, and I'll admit that. But I was a person that was dedicated to try to be faster.
Yeah.
And when I raced in the beginning, they were beating the hell out of me.
Sure.
I mean, everybody was. They were just knocking the hell out. Fine. I had a stick car. Yeah. I did everything in my yard myself. Most people know I did. It was just, then I met people like different people, Dan Cook, and just a whole bunch, Billy Kell, Dickie Sherman. In the end of when I quit racing, Dickie Sherman was probably the biggest help. He's out of Ohio. He had a trash compactor business, and he helped me. And mainly when I started getting down to getting better is what he started to help me a little bit financially. So I actually got really quick. And I go to races and qualify in the top 3-4 cars. Mm-hmm. But it still wasn't giving me the win I'd always wanted because I was looking to go faster. And that's why I say if I could go back, it would be the opposite way around. I'd be more of a driver and not to show everybody I can go faster because that's what hurt me all these years.
Right.
So that's the only thing I would do different. But I had a lot of fun meeting a lot of people, and especially when I traveled from home, you met a lot of nice people that are willing to help you or give you ideas, and it constantly progressive. I mean, I tell a couple of my friends, I met Bill Jenkins at St. Air. He come up to me and talked to me and watched the car run. Bob Glidden. You could tell people think it would never happen. It happened.
Yeah.
But he told me about a block to use. He told me things that he tried when he was. So that to me, that's history to me. It means a lot to me.
Now, I will say, again, though, that was a different era,
right?
Way
different.
More than likely, Greg Anderson, Jason Line, Erica Enders are not standing at the starting line watching super stockers run and giving you any sort of constructive criticism to make your cars faster these days, right?
He did it. Yep.
And that's a big difference.
You could pay him to do that. Consultant fee. You could just pay a consultant fee. I'm sure they would.
Oh, well, I mean, honestly, I'm not even sure that they could give you any sort of constructive criticism that would be worth anything.
Go faster.
Well, you know what? I take that. I take that back. Jason Line could. Jason Line definitely knows. Yeah, he's a smart guy. he races in stock actually. So I mean, he works on cars. He knows his stuff. But Greg Anderson, I mean, he's just so far removed from that type of stuff. And same with Eric Enders. I mean, and that's the true with most of the pro drivers these days. They're drivers. They don't know anything else.
Yeah, they don't. This is like I said when I was at races, and the truth is that I used to have Bob Glidden come over and shake my hand or say thumbs up. I wasn't that important to them, but they did it. It made me feel good. And I still got that memory, and it can't go away.
Right.
So that's one of the reasons why I want to make this full circle. If I can afford to do it, I want to try it again. Win, lose, or draw. If I don't go fast, I just want to have fun again.
Right. Well, and that's the nice thing about bracket racing is that you don't have to go fast. And, if you're racing, even if you're index racing, super gas, super rod type of thing, it's like it doesn't take much these days to make a car go 990 in the quarter mile. Ted Barnes series, the 1090 race. I mean, there's a lot of guys that race that. A lot of cars that are back half cars, stock. I mean, they're only ladder bar cars. It's pretty easy to make a car go 1090 and be able to hit a 5/10 pro tree compared to a 4/10 pro tree, and you're out there having fun, hanging out with your buddies.
That's the thing, to have fun and get back into it and just enjoy it. Short time left in life, you might as well have some little bit more fun. You know what I'm talking about?
You just have to make sure that you don't set expectations too high. That's the only thing, because I will say that no one's going to cut you any slack, even though you're new and you're back there to have fun. Yeah. They're going to try and gouge your eyeballs out when you're on the track, right? They'll drink beer with you afterwards. We're all buddies afterwards, but
you'll probably actually you'll get further. You'll have more friends if you're an easy out.
That's probably true. Everybody likes you, right?
It's like, I like him. I got nothing against that guy. He's never beat me on the track ever.
I'm just gonna, if I do it, I'll get a driver that's young,
right?
Somebody that's dedicated to it, and and
there's
maybe
you were talking about wanting to go fast, and you're always you wanted to go fast. You wanted to go fast. But years ago, wanting to go fast thing still paid off. You've got NHRA world speed records.
Yeah, I got them. I mean, they're great. I really like them. I mean, that was a period I really enjoyed that. I mean, there was some places I've set records, like in Rockingham. I set it soft because everybody told me they're going to hit our index. So stupid me, being a nice guy, which is the truth. I'm not backing down. I let off.
Yeah.
So, but it's then and now's now. I still had, you know what I mean? I set them, and a lot of people set records and stuff. I won a lot of class racing. But you know what? The bottom line is I had a good time. But if I could go over, there's things I definitely changed to make the car more consistent.
You probably know better than I do, Rod. These days, if you set a record, do they give you anything other than publish your name in National Dragster?
Back then, no. Just take the car apart and put it back together.
Right.
that was a headache.
Yeah, your reward for setting a record is getting torn down. Congratulations.
The only thing different, I think, now is when I talk to some people in stock, super stock, and all them, that now they don't pay as much, and the contingency is all gift certificates or something. To me, that's a slap in the face. I think it is a slap in the face as far as I'm concerned. I mean, you win that kind of money. I mean, that you win a race like that, you deserve a good payout. That I don't agree with. I don't.
And I don't disagree. And when you look at when you look at the amount of money that guys have tied up in their equipment, and I'm not even going to talk about toter homes and stacker trailers and stuff like that. I'll discount all of that and basically say, look, those are niceties that you don't necessarily have to have. But if you look at a guy who has a top Sportsman car, or a guy who has a super stocker, or a guy that's running Comp Eliminator, and the money that they have tied up in their car, to go out there and win $1,500 and then win another, $2,000-$3,000 in contingency. It's like, are you kidding? I mean, it was $300 just to enter. I haven't spent a nickel on food. I haven't spent a nickel on gas to tow the car here. We haven't talked about wear and tear on the race car at all. It's like, win $3,000-$4,000 to win a national event. That's crazy.
No. When I raced, I showed people, one-on-one class and stuff. I made anywhere from some races $1,200 to $2,200
right
back then, just for class. So I always booked my races to make money traveling that I knew I could win, or for, because I had like I said, Dickie Sherman's a good friend of mine. He ran my class, but we used to switch classes so we wouldn't have to run each other for class.
Yep.
And we made money.
Right.
And that's how that started with Dickie.
Yep.
And it was good. He helped me out because he definitely had a better car. I mean,
Yep.
he had a lot of money. He was a great guy. So he helped me out that way. But nowadays, I talk to people and gift certificates, no money for class hardly. I mean, wow. I remember when I left, I remember the last race I went, and I won class. It was like $1,600 just for actually 2 runs.
Yeah.
The hardest time I ever had winning money was at Indy because there was always 6, 8, 10,
Right,
12 cars
right.
in your class.
Yep.
That was hard.
Yep.
But it's totally different there nowadays.
Yeah, not even, and again, it's a different class than I race. I should be more knowledgeable about it than I am. But, now class eliminations, they only run class eliminations at a half dozen events. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's basically I think a combo class elimination where I don't even know how it works basically, but it ends up being a bracket race that they run for class eliminations, and there's, one class elimination winner for the entire event, and then regular eliminations or something like that. So, yeah, I mean, they've pretty much done away with class eliminations completely. Now, I'm guessing that IHRA, I mean, you raced IHRA.
I liked IHRA.
Right.
I
thought you did a lot of IHRA racing, honestly. And honestly, I mean, if I were to equate you to one of the series, I mean, when I think of Rod McNeil and where I would see him, I think IHRA first. And maybe that's just because of the races that I was going to, but I remember seeing the car at all the IHRA races. But I'm assuming that the super stock classes were the same, let's call it in the 80s.
A little easier.
Okay.
Okay, when I set the record at IHRA, they just looked at my car.
Yeah.
That's it. What happens, I set the record at Rockingham, I had to take it apart. You take the cylinder off, carburetor, blah, blah. Put it back together. I went down to Atlanta the following week in one class. Bob, same thing, take it apart. I just took it apart once.
Right.
So IHRA was a little easier and a little more softer on the racers.
Yeah.
They didn't push you, and it was cheaper to get into.
Yep.
Payouts were a little different, but not much. They treated you with good respect. But I got to say, when I went to NHRA, to be honest with you, I got great respect from all the officials.
Yep.
Danny Garza and all of them. They were very good to me. I mean, more than very good. When I got more involved going to national meets, people like Danny Garza and Greg Exikalis and a lot of other guys and Bob Lang, they were very good with me. I mean, They treated me with a lot of respect, and I really felt good about that.
Yeah.
So I miss it because of that kind of stuff.
Sure. So you bought the Camaro in '79 and ran it pretty much exclusively in super stock, right?
Yeah, Super I, Super H.
All the way through 97?
98.
98,
Yeah,
okay.
98, I went to a race, and I went to Norwalk. I was going to Norwalk and then go to Indy. And at Norwalk, I qualified second. In the second round, I had a little... Plymouth, I had to run super stock. I think it was a K automatic, and I hit the brake at the other end. I said, "You know what? I can't do this no more. I just couldn't do it. I just could not put the speed and stopping and slowing down. I'd give anything if they went. Maybe it would cost more money to go all out.
Sure,
racing, but I like that. I like the idea of comp.
Right.
Because I like the classes you can go fast and just not let off and just go for it.
I like those
too. Win, lose,
too.
or draw, I'd rather do that.
Yeah, me too. I just can't afford it.
That idea.
I look into the stuff they do now. I went around looking at some of these cars. I mean, you got to be a wire engineering. I mean, there's nothing but wires in these cars everywhere for all these computers.
Right.
I said, how would you do it? It's just too many wires for me. I mean, you really got to be electronic whiz.
Oh,
it's really a lot to it.
Yeah. There's a lot that goes into the cars these days. There's no doubt about it. I mean, that's one thing I will say that you look at the turbo cars and all those guys, and that's one of the things with those guys is that they get their laptops out every single run and hook them in the ignition system and start looking at ignition curves and all right, what are we going to do to try and get these cars down the track? And there's a lot of technology that goes into those vehicles.
That's one thing about drag racing. There is so much technology compared to any other race. Well. Indy races is basically like that. There's a lot of and NASCAR is not. It's a little bit, but not like drag. Drag racing, everything's totally too much. It's
Dirt modifiers have a lot of that technology in them if you run the traction control.
Yeah, I know, but you know what? Like everybody, I love dirt racing. Now he starts, but you go dirt racing, right? A lot of guys go, "How can you drag race?" I says, "Why?" you only get one shot. I said, yeah, but I get one shot. I come home with a clean car, and
Right.
I'm not spending a fortune fixing somebody else ran into me.
Right.
I mean, I love the sport. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, if you take them both together, if somebody took a dirt car and they want to sit in a drag car, like your car, and they tried it, they find out it's not as easy as they think.
Oh, yeah.
It's not that easy.
Right.
But, it's just not. And of course, the dirt car's cool because they go around and they smash into each other and they throw up dirt, and you can start last, go up in the front, go in the back again, come back up. Yeah, if you don't do that, drag racing, you better be dead perfect consistently or you're not going anywhere. There's a big difference in the world there.
Yeah, I was just having this discussion with somebody recently. They were asking me about racing, and the one thing about drag racing is if you make a mental error while you're going down the track, you're pretty much going to lose.
You're going to lose,
and that's it. And that's it. That's the end. That's the
lose.
end of your day. So let's assume just one. I mean, that's the end of your day. So it's like you leave the line, you make a mental error. More than likely, your day's done.
You make a mental error coming to the line. You have
that very well could
significantly increase your odds of
Oh,
losing.
there's no doubt. Yeah, there's no doubt. And that's one thing that you look at, with the circle track races, that you can make mistakes and you still have time to recoup from those mistakes.
You can screw up on lap 3, but you still have 32 laps to go.
Right.
Where you can't with drag racing. So, when people put, like I say, I love racing, and I'm a person, I go to dirt racing and have just as much fun. Same thing with hot rods. But when you go to a race and somebody says, I would never do that, I said, you never tried it.
Yeah.
Give it a shot. Just once. I like to see you go out there. See, if I do a car, I'm telling you right now, I'll get some of them guys to try it, and they'll say, holy Christ, this isn't that easy. I said, not kidding. You go out there and mentally put all these together and see what you can do. At least in a dirt car, I'm an old man. I go out there and go around. If I hit somebody, I can stop and pull up and go around again.
Right.
You can't do that in this sport. This sport, you got when you get up on it, before you get up to the line, you put that helmet on. Your mind has to be 100% free.
Yep.
And if it's not, you're not doing anything.
Oh, yeah.
You're not.
And I will say, I probably said it on this show before, one of the things that really separates the extremely good drivers from the average drivers are the guys that are able to overcome events that basically screw up their routine. So you go up there, you start doing your burnout, and then all of a sudden something goes wrong. And for an average driver like myself, it's like that's going to take me, and I'm basically going to be a mental case essentially that run, and I'm done. Really good drivers don't let that stuff affect them and can overcome those types of events to basically still win and keep their head and their wits about them. And like I said, that's the type of thing that really separates the extremely good drivers from just the average drivers, or at least one of them at least.
You're right, because you look at guys like Danny Fletcher. He's 101 wins.
You don't get that. You don't get 101 wins by being average.
You have to be on your game every day you race.
Yep.
And that's why I like this Pete McNeil.
Yeah.
Sam's kid. He's very good.
Oh,
He could do that. They're smart. They get a car and just travel. That kid can make a lot of money. A lot of money.
Yeah, I know with the Malibu, he's been traveling more. I don't know what the story with the Malibu is, other than the fact that they built that specifically as a bracket car, and so he races it in hot rod. He hasn't raced it in super rod yet, I don't believe, but that's the car that they go to the big money bracket races. But I'm actually surprised that they're still doing IHRA, points races and stuff like that, because Pete is clearly good enough to be able to compete with any of the guys out there. And if it were me, I'd be having Pete go doing all the biggest money bracket races in the country.
I would go to them races, pay $100,000.
Oh, absolutely.
That $1 million one. I mean,
absolutely.
I think he could win them.
Oh, there's no doubt.
I watched him, and I was really impressed.
No doubt.
I never left the stands the whole day I was there. So
really?
Never walked out of the stands. I stayed there and watched every car, and I was amazed. I think if he ran a lot of them big bracket races, 50,000. They got a lot of them big shows.
Oh yeah.
And they got that one. They got $1 or $2 million ones. I mean, he's that good. He could knock them down.
The only thing I will say is, if you're going to do the big dollar bracket races, at that point, you really need to have a dragster to do it. That way you can. I mean, not to say that he can't compete. He can compete, but if you're going to do it, you're really going to make a serious effort at it. You're going to want to build a dragster so that you can be one of the faster cars and chasing a lot. again, not that you can't do it with a door car, because you can. And I will say a lot of the events, like the spring fling event. So we had Sal Biondo on, I don't know, a couple of months ago, I guess it was at this point in time. So the Biondo, Peter and Sal and Kyle Seipel, they do this whole fling. So they do one out in Vegas, a couple in Bristol. And one nice thing that they do, and a lot of the bigger bracket races they do, is they split the cars, door car versus door car, dragster versus dragster, until you get down to 8 cars or 10 cars or whatever.
Which is a great idea.
It is a great idea, because now you have guys stopped going to those races that had door cars because they're like, I'm bringing a knife to a gunfight, right? I don't want to do that. So yeah, by separating them out, guys now said, hey, you know what? Yeah, I have a chance at winning these events now. So yeah, if you did go to events like that, then that certainly tips the scales in your favor as well.
At least puts you back in the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go back to Pete. I think he could do it with the car he has. I really do. I mean, I know it's a harder.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I'm not saying he can't, because you're right. He is that good. But it makes it scary to think what he would do if he had a dragster.
Oh yeah. I mean, wow. I mean, but you know what? He's young. He's good, and something's going to come good out of this. Yeah, he'd be good in the pro stock.
I mean, he is. I will say he is reigning IHRA Super Stock World Champion. I mean, that's. And really, the year before, he probably, I won't say, well, I think if I remember correctly, I think the year before, when he lost in the final because the car broke, I think they did lead the starting line, both him and his competitor, and I think Pete had the starting line advantage. So he probably would have been IHRA Super Stock Champion 2 years in a row, except for the fact that his equipment let him down. But, the kid's good. There's just no doubt about it.
He's good. But, there's a lot of good. Chuck Camille's another great friend of mine. Now his son's doing a great job in that car. Now he's,
So that's Steve, right? Yep.
Steve's doing a great job, and I'm happy because I know Chuck a long time, and he's really put a lot of years into that super stock car.
They from Webster.
He's really originally from Lyons, New York.
Oh, okay.
Now he lives in Florida, but he put his dues in, and Steve stands right up now, and he's bringing the car around. So like I said, There's everybody at that track I like. Lance Pinnell. I mean, Lance Pinnell offered me a car, 69 Camaro, to put my stuff in and go super stock racing. I would love to do it because Lance is pretty open with it.
Lance Pinnell.
And, there's Lance now. So I would really like to go back to super stock.
Yeah.
That's where I came from. And like I said, this class racing with the brackets now and computers, and I don't know if I could do that.
No, I don't know. I haven't talked to Lance, so I would say he's probably Lance's best buddy, John Sierra.
Yes, John is.
So John was racing Super Gas with us, and still has his Nova that is now sitting in the shop. He's really concentrating with his other Nova to race stock and super stock. I've never really talked to Lance to find out if Lance has any interest in racing stock or super stock or not.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't?
Because like I said, he's got the 69 Camaro there. It's all done. Pete did it. Pete C done the car. It's just sitting there, and it's been for almost half a year. He's been saying, you want to? He's willing to give me the car. I finish it up.
Yeah.
Put the motor, transmission in, get everything set up the way I want it, paint the car the way I want it, and take it. And then if I don't want the car, he said he'll buy it back and pay what I put into it. I can't go wrong in that deal. But I think if I do it, I'm going to sit down and say, listen, like I said, I got a couple cars all over the place. The bracket would be kind of the easiest thing for me.
Sure.
But I don't know. So what I'm going to sit back like everybody tells me, just relax. I'm in no hurry.
Well, yeah, and if you're in no hurry, and honestly, I think you really should take a step back and figure out where do you want to compete, right? Where are you going to have the most fun?
Where I feel that be the most fun. And I don't want to drive no more. So I just want to be able to have a car, go racing, and just see what happens. Right now I'm trickling. I got my feelers out. What I'm really going to do, I don't know. I'm going to try to talk to Dickie Sherman or some of these people that helped me before and see if they're willing to just help me a little bit.
Right.
I don't want a lot of help, just something to where I can come back out and be competitive and try. But none of this stuff trying to go faster. I want to try to get in the winner's circle at least once before I kick the bucket. Not me, but the driver. I've been in IHRA, but I always wanted an NHRA I thought I was going to get Indy one year in the Keystones. I got down 4 cars, but that's as far as I could get.
Well, that's still
And that
pretty
was hard.
darn
There
good.
was 286 cars a year. I qualified number 2. You know, I don't brag, but to me it's what I did. You know, I loved it. So,
Well, yeah, you loved it, and I mean that was the amount of effort that you put into your vehicle, right?
yeah, and I loved the car. I really, I miss it. But
Well, and that
That
was
Camaro, right?
the great Camaro.
yeah. That, I was going to ask that question. I mean, you had said that when you sold the hot rod, that was one of the hardest things that you did. But did you feel that way when you sold the Camaro?
Well, yes, but not like the hot rod. The hot rod, how can I put it? It was like it's 2 different worlds. One is a racing world, and one is more like the get together with parties and stuff and fun. People like the car. You know, you go in the car show, like, man, that car's cool. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. And it was a whole different world.
Yeah.
Of drag racing drag racing is like a very.
This is the Bel Air line at Barrett Jackson, right?
Yeah, Barrett Jackson. So it's 2 different worlds. The hot rod world was more of a everybody got together for fun. Drag racing world was fun for me, but then you always had that. You had to have the eye of the tiger. And see, that's where I went wrong. I always felt you got to be there to beat, go quicker. And I guess that was my downfall by doing that. So the hot rod stuff was actually more fun because I appreciate it more as something I've done. You know what I mean? It was appreciated a little bit more. The other thing was more of a like a drug. Got to go quicker. And that was the bad point. So if I have to, I'll take the hot rod over that part.
Now, the hot rod, so I guess let's talk about just briefly about the 56. So when did you acquire that car?
I bought the body out of Arizona, brought it home, stripped it down, ripped the wiring out of it, redid the front and rear end. I took the motor up, put a 383 stroker together, put a 5-speed in it, did a different rear end. A little help from Givo's rears and gears. He did me a rear end, and that's how that started. And I had a friend of mine help me do the paint work over again because I ruined it the second. When I painted, I ruined it. Well, I didn't ruin the paint work. I ruined the body work. It wasn't that great.
Okay.
And basically, I just did everything in my little shop and just tinkered. It was my little favorite toy. Something that I could do, and that's what I did. And that's why I didn't go to dirt races no more. But dirt racing happened because something went wrong at the racetrack. But it's no big deal now. So it actually gave me something to look forward to different. And everybody kept telling me, build a hot rod, try it. So I did this car, and then I showed it. I made some money with it. At least I made money with it.
Right.
And I took it to some big shows and won East Coast, one of the biggest shows in the East Coast. And that was kind of the highlight of mine. And I did very well with it. It was actually more fun to go by and watch people give me thumbs up, and that was it. It was very, and you meet a lot of nice people in that business.
Yeah,
there's a lot of nice people.
Now you literally, it was put on a trailer. I don't even think it was 2 weeks ago, was it?
Yeah, I went to Barrett Jackson with it. No, it was 3 weeks almost now. Yeah. Oh, you mean when I sold it?
Yeah.
And the weird part is I went to Barrett Jackson. I thought I'd sell it there. Everybody thought I was going to do real big money. I'm not going to say what they thought it was going to bring, but it didn't bring anywhere near it. It was actually a downfall. It was actually, how you get somebody poked a hole in your balloon? That's what happened to me. Because everybody was giving me this thing. It's going to do this, and they were all people that I don't know, but people buy a lot of cars.
Right.
Well, they didn't buy it, of course. So anyways, I'm leaving that place. I'm going towards home, and there was a guy saw the car, and he asked me about it. And he says, you want to make it? I said, yeah. I said, I didn't sell it. He says, what do you want? I gave him a price. He says, I want the car. He was my age. So he said, I'll call you tomorrow, which he called me 2 days later and says, I'm buying it from my son-in-law and my daughter for my grandkids. So it went on for like a week and a half, and he sent me a check. Didn't want no paperwork back to him or nothing.
Wow.
Very nice guy. Said, I'll have a guy pick it up. Fine. Sat there. And he called me, said it got delivered, and it says I'm going to let it sit in the garage, covering it up.
Does this guy want to adopt
I know.
any other kids?
I wanted to tell him. He said, you want to start something over again here? But he was a very nice guy. Like I said, I met.
Now, where's he from?
He's from Maryland.
Oh,
Maryland.
okay.
I'm trying to think of the town in Maryland he's from. He's from Maryland. He's a very nice guy. I met the son-in-law. He's a down-to-earth guy. He just said he wanted the car. He loved it. His son-in-law loved it, and got home and sent me pictures of people in the neighborhood and his daughter-in-law. And he says, we're not going to show it this year. He made me give him the sign that Bobby Myers makes all my signs for the car.
Yeah.
So the guy wanted the sign, so I gave it to him. He says, I'm going to keep it with the car. So if I show it once or twice during the year, I'm going to tell him this car was yours.
Okay.
He says, really? So I said, okay, you can have it. He says, I'm going to dedicate the car shows to you.
Wow.
I said, really? So that was kind of cool. Different, right,
cool.
Chris?
Yeah, it's
I never
cool.
had that before. So
Well, no, normally if you,
It's,
Just to back up real quick, because now I'm
Go ahead.
confused. Because I thought that it was at Barrett Jackson, but I've got
no, it was
this.
at Mecum.
at Mecum.
I got this picture of you
Oh yeah,
slamming the gavel.
it was kind of cool. They're nice people, Mecum. Very nice. I enjoyed my time there. It wasn't what I really expected. My car, I thought it would do a lot better, but in all the long run, it came out to benefit me anyway.
Sure.
Doing it this way.
Yep.
So I met another nice guy, but the people at Mecum were very nice. Every one of them, from Jimmy Duck to everybody. Jimmy talked to me, and it was a great time. The
Now, I
Mecums
never,
were very nice.
I guess I never thought about it. I'm guessing the answer is no. They don't charge you anything to just put your car across the stage,
No, they
do they?
do.
Oh, they do.
Oh yeah, they do.
Okay.
It's not cheap. It's pretty expensive.
Well,
And they
I was just
charge you-
because I was thinking, right? It's like, geez, the best thing that you could possibly have happen, really, going to an auction, would be to basically just have it go through, not have somebody buy it, and then have them buy it after the auction, where you don't have to pay the buyers and sellers
No,
premiums,
but you can't
right?
do that. You're on a contract, so you can't really do that. So no, you can't.
Well,
do that.
you can't do that. I mean, to a certain.
Yeah, go on.
What's the time? What's the time frame though? Obviously, that contract has some type of expiration date, right? So
it's got a date, 21 days.
Okay. So
It's
best case.
It's technically their car for 21
Yeah.
days, more or
But
less.
since the person that bought my car had nothing to do with this auction, I can go back another step. I had my car sold at the auction with cash,
Yeah.
60-something thousand. Guy come up, had in a briefcase, right? So I didn't want to take all the cash. I told him, listen, let's work something out.
All right.
And I'll go upstairs. So when I said that, he goes, he says, I'm going to walk around and buy some more cars. So I went upstairs because I was a little upset that my car didn't get enough time on the stage.
Sure.
And a couple guys said that hurt a little bit, which it didn't. So I went upstairs, and long story short, they told me this auction was the worst one I should have came to. I should have brought it to Kissimmee next spring or fall or spring. So in the meantime, I said, listen, there's a guy down there trying to buy my car with cash. He says, don't buy it. It's all bad money. It was.
Oh.
So it looked out for me there. Like I said, everything happens for a reason in anything you do.
Yeah.
So I just, like I said, I sit back and see what happens in the next, because I've had a couple guys call me up and say, hey, I got this car here. It's looking good. You want to buy it? It's just another hot rod. But I really don't want to look into that right now.
Well, and I think the thing with you, not that you wouldn't buy a race car, but just from talking to you, I don't believe that buying a completed hot rod is really what you're interested in doing.
No, it's not.
If you were going to build another hot rod, that'd be
I'd
one
like
thing.
to get another body, but then I started thinking that full circles drive me crazy to come back to something that I always liked.
Yeah.
And it's not the winning part. I really enjoyed racing.
Right.
A lot of guys go, well, but I had fun. No matter what happened, I had good time.
Yep.
Even there was times I was upset racing.
Oh,
all
sure.
that is. Everybody has a bad.
Oh, yeah.
And I had them, but down and all, I have met some very, very, very nice people.
I know I've said this to Chris. I don't know if I've said it to you or not, but my wife has literally asked me at the racetrack, why do you do this if you are so miserable? And it's, and it is, it is fun, but it can be very aggravating and very frustrating at times too. And, if you catch that person right in the heat of that aggravating, frustrating moment, they're not going to be in the best mood at that point in time.
But
right?
that's everybody in racing. I don't care if it's dirt racing, asphalt racing,
Absolutely.
or Indy racing,
Oh, yeah.
NASCAR.
Oh, yeah.
You have so much adrenaline that you just can't handle it all. And something goes wrong, you just break down, and you short circuit.
I can remember far fewer happy people than I can remember miserable people. at a racetrack.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and then social media. Oh my God. Before it was message boards, so there's no face attached to the name, and I think social media has given people an easier avenue to complain, but it's not as anonymous either. But yeah, I agree, man. I wonder a lot of times. It's like, if this is making you this upset, why are you even bothering? And I've been in that boat too. There's been plenty of times at
and it is
tracks.
Literally any kind of racing, right? I mean, I've felt that way racing the RC cars. So it literally is
anything to do with wheels or any sport, really. It doesn't even baseball, football. They're all the same. They all have that. They all have fuses, and sometimes they go.
Yep.
And that's it. There's no way around it.
Right.
I mean, your best drivers, there's going to be a bad day once in a while. It's going to make them upset, and they're going to say, "Just leave me alone."
Right. Yep. So the hot rod, now that it's gone, I guess. Would you want to? I guess your next race car, let's just say hypothetically, you got back into drag racing. The next race car, would it be something that you'd want a project where you built it, or would you be okay with buying a complete car ready to race?
Like I was telling friends of yours and mine and everywhere, I've had a few calls from other places about cars. I really want a car now. And matter of fact, I'm thinking about going look at one, and they're going to test it for me before I buy. Before I buy anything, I want it running, and it's got to run.
Yep.
I mean, I got 2 super stock cars I want to look at.
Yep.
Okay. If they run the way they should run, then I'm going to offer them the money.
Yeah.
But it's not a 100% deal yet. Okay.
Sure.
But I don't know.
So at that point, can you keep your mitts off of it, or?
Yes. That's the thing. I realized racing, that is not to be the top of the cream of the crop, to try to be the fastest. It's to be the most consistent. And I didn't learn that until after I sold it and I played with the hot rod. So that's one of the reasons I'd love to get back into it.
You were just telling that story about one guy figured out that the race is actually just should be treated like a bracket race.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. It's right. It goes back to bracket races. As long as you can make it in the field. It's like you go to certain tracks, though, you better be pretty quick. Like you go to Indy, you better be it's going to take a 65, probably a 7 to get in.
Right.
Okay, that's a lot. So you at least got to have that on your table.
Yep.
But I went there a lot of times and not made the field because I just loved going there.
Sure.
And I did it just because it was, to me, it's the cream of the crop racers. Let me go up there and beat heads with them and let them knock me down. Fine with it.
Right.
I can take that. That's all. That was part of my reasons, everything I did in racing. It's like if I did a dirt car, I would be the same way. I'd just go out. But see, I would go out there and just have a great time with them. But with them, it's hard to do because I'm not into seeing something get wrecked. You know what I mean? And there's, Chris knows me. When I did a little racing program, and it was cool. But a lot of people used to knock me down because I thought of crate motors. But you know what?
Crate motors has saved the sport.
It's saved. It's like now, I talk to somebody not bringing dirt a lot, but I think if they were smart, they go to the crate motor big blocks. Mm-hmm. You know what? And they'll all sit out there if they're saying, listen here, but they all say, no way. But you want to know something? If they did, there'd be a lot of Sportsman drivers that can sure go up there and kick the heck out of a lot of the guys who've been racing for years. Right. There's a lot of great Sportsman drivers.
Yep.
And they definitely get outdrive some of them boys up on top.
Yep.
And I'll stick to that, because there is. But you can't afford to spend $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 for a motor to make 15 either. You know what I mean? So if they put it down where you can buy a motor for $12,000, that half them guys would be up there racing along. Yeah. And a lot of them boys are very good. But let's get off that subject.
And you can get a crate motor cheaper than that. I mean, if you just wanted to go have a dirt car and run, you could run a Sportsman car, or for that matter, a top end Sportsman budget would put you in a decent 360 sprint car.
Oh yeah,
the budgets are so similar.
Oh yeah, you go street sprint car racing. Yeah, you could do that, but like they need to regroup that. I mean, nothing against them, but I think they should. There's the old timers out there racing modifieds. It still want the big block and all that big horsepower, but you know what? Them smaller motors run just as good. They don't want to give it up. They're old. It's an old dinosaur. It's like looking at their cars. To me, their cars are old style. They need to modernize stuff.
That's what's working. If we're still talking dirt car, now you started blending terms and I lost you. But If we're still talking about small blocks, I mean, the big small blocks are doing better than the small big blocks and big blocks at Outlaw. You know, it used to be Black Rock Speedway. The small, the big small blocks, the big displacement small blocks are doing better than the big block cars.
Well, you take Billy Dunn. He's got that small block modified motor. It's a crate motor.
The crate motor, yeah.
Huh. Come on, be realistic, guys.
Yeah.
Wake up. You know, let the older guys get out of racing and let these kids in Sportsman move up.
Right.
That's it. Let them, because they're going to be better. And they're going to make more people come because there's going to be more race cars. Who the heck wants to go watch 60? I don't go no more. I miss the people. I'm not saying I miss every driver there and all. But if you put more cars out there, especially bring them all back down to reality, let everybody afford it.
Right.
Trust me, they'll pick up fans, and they're definitely going to be a bigger outlook of race cars.
I will say that drag racing has tried, because obviously I think every drag racer, if you really held their feet to the fire, would admit, yeah, I would love to run all out, first one to the finish line. I'm pretty sure every drag racer would do that. The problem is we haven't figured out a way how to do that where it doesn't come down to the guy with the most money wins. And we've done the crate motor. There's been so many different crate motor classes that people have come up with. And it just very quickly, the first season or two, it's pretty competitive. It's pretty cool. After that, it very quickly devolves in, okay, I can't do anything to my motor, but now I'm going to be putting all ceramic and beryllium bearings around the whole thing, right? So I'm just going to spend my money someplace else. And I mean, I wish they could come up with some type of deal like that. And I don't know if the crate motor is the answer. I don't know what some of the other different types of racing organizations.
There's a bunch of different combinations for crate motors. The biggest ones that we see around here are the 602 and the 604. I think the 604 is what they use for like the late models.
Yep.
And the 602 is what they have in the Sportsman. And that's generally speaking. There's particular tracks that have done their own thing in terms of engine combinations and things like that. But generally the 602 is what Dirt Car approved for the Sportsman class, and then the 604, which is a little bit different displacement, a little bit different power combination for the late models. And I don't think Dirt Car has a sanction on that at all. That's Rush, I believe, Rush crate late model program.
Okay.
And then the BRP Can-Am Tour had those crate lates as well. They've got the crate lates at Outlaw, and I think they've run at Batavia too, up in Genesee Speedway.
Yeah. So you know quite a bit about it yet. You stick around. You know everything. See that? He's a sneaky guy.
He knows a lot about a lot of things. He just doesn't let on. He plays dumb.
Yeah. Well, Chris has been around a long time with mainly almost every kind of motorsport. So he's definitely a good writer. Definitely. No, he's definitely a great writer. When it comes down to doing, you can do it.
I miss it.
You miss it?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes, right until I get to a Saturday where I get to do whatever I want to do, and I'm like, I don't have to go to a racetrack.
Right.
That's cool. Huh? Just do your thing. That's.
So now, next car for you, I mean, you and I talked about it a little bit. You think definitely a small block?
Well, like I said, there's a couple cars in Ohio and a couple in Pennsylvania. One is it could be a 990 car. It's got a big block 454, and it's got the Ford Ren aluminum center side. Pretty nice car. I mean, it's got all the gadgets and all the electronic stuff in it. But it's been set in a lot of years.
Yep.
It's been set, not been run. I think he had 50 runs on it. He's supposed to call me back today. He told me I got to have tires on it. But then I thought about it. There's no sense taking it out and running it because it hasn't been running almost 10 years.
Right.
So why bother?
Right.
So I told him, think about taking the motor out and stuff and selling it to me that way. But like I said, I got this little dangling thing in my head about Lance's car, Lance Pinto.
Right.
And to me, that seems like the best way of going. But see, I don't want to drive.
The reason I was asking before about Lance and potentially driving stock and super stock is because Lance is a pretty good driver.
Oh yeah,
and I just don't know if he has any interest in doing that.
Oh no, he wants to stay with his car, and I don't blame him. You know what I like about Lance? He's he's a foot breaker.
Right,
he does football. Foot break.
Right,
not football. So he's very good at that. I mean, he said he won't change, and to me that's pretty cool. But the technology, everybody's got all the delays and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But he does it without that. So he's a good driver, but he's gave me a good opportunity if I want to take it to use the car.
Yeah.
And just invest my money in that, and
yep.
because then I got to buy a truck, a trailer, or something. I got to buy something decent to haul it away with. So
I will say, if you were open to a Mopar, Jerry Stoutenberg is selling his whole operation at the moment. But
Go on.
Jerry's got a 60. I think it's a 64 Valiant.
Valiant.
Yeah, super gas car, and Jerry's just decided that I'm old and I'm retiring, and he's a great guy, still a really good driver, but he's got everything up for sale. But it's a big block. What's that?
Valiant was below the Fury and the Belvedere, right? That was wasn't that a 6-cylinder car originally?
Mm-hmm. That was a 6-cylinder car. Yep. Jerry's got his whole operation up for sale. That car's got a lot of history, actually. And if I remember correctly, I believe that Jerry owned that car, then sold it to Wayne Ford, and Wayne Ford drove it for probably the better part of 10 years, and then sold it back to Jerry. And Jerry's had it, I don't know, it's got to be easily the last 25 years that Jerry's had it. So that's a Mopar. That's one car you could go. Eric Macaroli, I know, would love to sell his Plymouth. What is it? Those
funky Savoys?
No. It's not a Dart. Not a Valiant. What the heck is Eric's car? I should know this. You even have a picture of his car in the
Duster?
opening. The
Satellite?
No, the bright green.
Duster?
No, think like 78, 80 vehicle.
78, 80? Like a Magnum?
Well, but that's another Mopar though. So
see, I'm a Chevy nut.
Right.
I mean, Chevys are, to me, is like the coolest.
This is the final round.
He's a Mopar man over there in the corner.
Live from the FingerLakes1.com.
So
it's the brightest green one that you're going to see on the opening.
If I do anything 10-1, it'll be like I said, a Chevrolet deal.
Yeah.
But you know what the problem is? I know I can't drive. I'm just way over the curve anyways. Getting heavy, everything's going against me. But I like, it is. You got a car, you got to find a driver. You got to find somebody you can mesh with, and be able to, like you got to get some. If you go bracket racing, you definitely got to have somebody that knows everything about computers, knows how to, watch the weather 100%. Like you're dedicated to all them figures. I saw all your figures.
Right.
That's what you need.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That. Yeah, then it would be fun racing again.
Yeah, I was actually thinking another guy. It's another Mopar though. Kerry Hodge. Kerry Hodge was at least a couple of months ago wanted to sell his car. I don't know what he wants to do at the moment. Kerry Hodge is a good foot brake racer too, but that's another Mopar. He's got a Roadrunner, big Roadrunner. But
FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown.
Well, I can't see what you're looking
at. I got nothing
so
against Mopars because I had one, so I raced it for years. I IHRA raced it, and I set the record with that thing, and I had good time with it. But I've just always been a Chevy guy.
As soon as I look at the picture, I will.
I'm trying to.
That car right there. That is a.
Oh, it's what do you call it? He's not trying to
What is
words.
that? It's a Plymouth.
Mike Masson had the same thing. What the heck is it?
Yes, Mike Masson had exactly the same thing, as did.
I can't remember. I'm getting so bad at this stuff.
Man, it really is a shame when the mind goes.
Oh
right?
man, you're telling me? Right, hang out with me a little bit. You'll see.
I can't place that one. All I can think of is like a Duster or a Demon, but it's got something funky going on with that roofline in the back.
I'll find
There's some nice cars out there. There was some decent cars out there.
Oh, there's some very nice cars. I'm just
like
trying.
I said, I was glad to get back to racing, to see some. Matter of fact, I'm taking my daughter and my girlfriend. We're going to Maple Grove, and that'll be kind of cool. I'm going back there. I got my tickets for that, hanging out with some people down there. And I'm going to try to go maybe one more. I'm thinking maybe even going out to the coast for the finals. I haven't been there in a while. I've been out there a couple times for the.
Now, when was the last time you were at Indy?
Oh God, I was gonna go, and I couldn't find anybody to go. I want to go bad, but why you want to go? I'm going. If I get somebody to go with me, I'd go.
I will say that
I'd leave tomorrow. I'd get out of here. I really love to go. It's been a while since last time I went there is when I raced, and that was in 90-something.
Yeah.
When I went last time I went class there, yeah, I think it was 90-something. I can't remember.
I will
But
say
I love that place.
Yeah, I will say that I'm trying to think of the last time I was there. So I was there probably last time, say 5-6 years ago, just watching.
Yeah.
But I've never raced at Indy,
I love
and it's one of those things that's on my bucket list. Is one of these years I'm going to take the week off of work and go out and race Indy. And I don't have any expectations for winning Indy or anything like that. But I at least want to go and say, yeah, you know what, I raced at Indy.
When I went there, my first time there, I got chills, especially the staging lanes, and then coming out and going up to the tunnel, and looking at the burnout box and seeing her. That was my favorite track. My favorite track is that, and the second one is Maple Grove. Maple Grove is a very special place in my heart. But Indy, when you go there and race and you turn that corner, it's a whole different. And then like I say, I don't know how many cars they get now, but when I used to go there was I got sheets from there, and I tell you they're 280, 296.
Yeah.
I mean, when you see them in the staging lanes and lining up and going out for class eliminations, there's no better feeling than that. It was the most. It just. I still get it. I could sit here and think about it right now. It's just there.
Yeah.
It's always been there. And, and it was hard to win out there because them boys were fast. But it was just the idea of coming around that corner and knowing, wow. I never thought about getting beat. I just went there and I felt good about being there.
Yep.
And you do it once.
Oh yeah.
You'll be happy.
Yep.
It's just. That's definitely a good bucket list. Definitely.
It's a Plymouth Arrow, by the way.
Yeah, I was just going to Plymouth Arrow. Figure it out. You got it, right? I knew you'd figure it out.
It took me a while.
I'm sitting here trying to figure it out. I got to stop thinking because I'll forget what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Maple Grove is a cool track, too. And I will say that, and I'm not trying to insult anybody, but it definitely seems like, and I don't know if it's because of history or what, but super stock in the Northeast definitely seems like, yes, there's Eric's car right there, Plymouth Arrow.
Okay, yeah.
But that's a really good working car too. That car likes to do some wheelies. But anyways, the super stock program in the Northeast is just really, really competitive. It's unbelievable how many really great cars are up here. And you look at the size of the shows that you get up here. It's crazy. It really is.
There's always been a lot of good super stocks in this area, between Pennsylvania here and New Jersey. Very strong competitive cars.
Yep.
I could go back for years, and they're always good. Everybody. I mean, there's some real good competition, and there is now. I mean, there's good competition now. I mean, you go to Indy and you make the field. You've done something.
Oh yeah,
it's a strong field, and there's no slouch cars there. I mean, like I was telling you, it's going to take a 7 to get in.
Yeah,
or more.
I'm
Maybe
sure
not, I think it is.
I'm sure I've said it on this show too before. The other thing about Indy is that it definitely is a marathon. It's not a sprint, right? Because they run you over so many days, and you win Indy. Especially, I mean, it's not trying to take away from the Super Gas and Super Comp guys, but you win Indy, especially in Super Stock, where it's a qualified show like that, and it's like, man, you should be very proud of that accomplishment.
I think anything to do with Indy, I mean, Super Stock, Comp, Super Gas, to win there is just
it's hard.
It's amazing. It's just. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, I get chills thinking about it because there's so many good cars, and they're from all over the country, and you go doctors, lawyers. I mean, you name it. They're from every part of business, and they own business. It's just amazing, and then to go there, and if you can make it in there, but to win it, oh my God, I don't care what class it is.
And there's no doubt. I think it might be hardest. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's like I said, it's hard in every class.
It's hard in every class.
With super gas, I mean, I watch these guys running at, basically first out of the gate at 8 o'clock in the morning and being last down the track at 11 o'clock at night when the dew's settling into the track, all the rest of it, and not making a pass all day. And it's like, holy cow, you got two totally different weather situations that you're trying to deal with, and it was really incredible.
You could never set a car up because, like they say, Super Stock. We used to go on Thursday, and we used to be there. We actually went on Sunday to go to the races for that place.
Okay,
you got to be there at least 6-7 days.
Yep.
And when we time trial on Thursday, we get online at 8:30, and we're still in line at noon.
Right.
And, you can't really set your car up because you got to constantly change things.
That's right.
And it's totally it's mind-boggling, but it's just a lot of cars, a lot of people, and it's a hard thing to do. You go there, you got to concentrate so much. Your mind has to be so pinpoint on what you're doing, or you're just.
Now, how far did you get in? How many cars?
4 cars in.
You get down to 4.
I kept all the sheets on that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I'm proud of that. I mean, I would have loved to win.
Not the last 4.
I would love to win that, but it's
finals
hard. With a stick car, it's hard.
Oh, yeah,
it's totally. Like everybody said, put an automatic. I never had an automatic car in my life.
Yeah.
And, maybe they're right, but you know what? I was happy the way I did it, and I'll stay happy.
Well, I would say that was my dad. I mean, we had a 5-speed in the Corvette for the longest time, and when we finally blew it up and destroyed it and destroyed the motor at the same time, that was when my dad finally had enough. I mean, it was crazy the maintenance that we were trying to. It was crazy the maintenance that we had to do trying to run super gas and getting a good light on a 4/10 Pro Tree. So we got rid of all the clutch departure. So I mean, you're just grinding up gears basically, right? And but my dad did it for all those years because he loved it.
Right.
He loved driving that car like that.
I look in the paper, like I got Phil. I was at Phil's house, and I gave him a couple of Dragsters. Look, boy, there's no stick cars no more.
No.
I mean, it's a dinosaur, but you know what? To me, it's always going to be there. Maybe I look at things wrong, but that's the way I led my life.
I will say, I mean, I would. That's one thing I would love to do is I would love to race a car with a modern manual transmission, a Jericho or something like that. But Matt in the throttle, and well, I mean, these days you're going to chip it anyways. I mean, that was the other thing. I mean, back in the day there was no chips.
No chip.
It was valve float. That's whatever it was, and that's where it stopped revving to. But yeah, I just can't imagine how fun that would be to just mat the throttle, let the clutch out.
It does look like fun when they do. I mean,
oh yeah,
it breaks a lot of parts.
It does.
It does. But nowadays with these converters, the cars leave just as hard as a stick car. Almost. Not quite as hard, but they're pretty close.
And they don't sound the same either.
Oh, no. I like the idea of the motor-free ride. I love that. I really like that. But, yeah.
That's the other thing I'll say with Pete's car from this weekend, Pete Dagnolo's car from this weekend. It's like every time that car went down the track, I knew it. I didn't have to listen. I had no idea what the announcer said, all the rest of it, but I could hear that car coming down the track with that modified motor. It's like, oh, man, that is music to my ears.
Motor. That ran good.
Oh,
that car ran good. But they work good together. The car and him work good together.
Yeah.
And his dad keeps it running for him, so I give him credit. I mean, it takes a whole family operation. So I didn't talk to him there. I really tried not to talk to too many people except for Phil and them because we're close. Me, Phil, and the rest of the couple guys, and some I don't see, and
right.
And I don't know if there's bad blood between some of us, but that's the way life is.
Right.
That's the way it goes.
I would say, I mean, I don't know everybody out there, and I mean, in a lot of cases, you're trying not to, especially at the races. I mean, if I were to go out to the races, whatever race it would be, I'm trying not to bother somebody because I know they're trying to race, right? They got stuff that they're trying to do, and so you're trying to keep out of their hair. But yeah, Mr. Dagnolo certainly is. He's an integral part of that program.
Oh yeah, he's a good part of it. If it wasn't for him, it might not be off the ground. I mean, the car's been good for Christ, as long as I remember back in Spencer days. I mean, he had a bad car back then. Him and Bernie and all them guys in competition. It was a strong field of cars back there. Steve Harbs and all of them. I mean,
now you never went into Comp Eliminator. You never.
No, I really love super stock.
Yeah,
I really do. I mean, if I won the lottery, I'd do a super stock again.
Car.
I wouldn't. Everybody goes, "Would you pro?" No, I'd build a super stock car. My dream super stock car and a dirt track. I don't know.
I would say Phil and I have already discussed this. We're going to build a top sportsman car if we ever win the lottery.
Yeah, I always loved super stock way back. I just love it. It's just where I like it. Maybe it's the way I came around some of the friends I met.
Yeah.
You know, I met some real great people from West Coast, and I mean, I miss that. That part of the racing I totally miss a lot.
Now, what would you say, I guess, biggest accomplishment?
Setting a record. Mainly that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and running quick at the end when I quit. I ran quick.
And that's
I ran faster because I was always driven to that, which like I said, was a mistake. So for the way I look at it, like some people, I'm a legend of my own mind, but that's not true. But go ahead and think that, boys. So the bottom line is, I did what I wanted to do.
Yeah. Well, and Chris...
And I enjoyed it.
I would say Chris wasn't privy to this conversation, but we talked about this at the races on Saturday. And you had said that your hot rod buddies were always like, Rod, what are you doing? Why are you taking the cam out of this car? It's like, well, because I can. Yeah. And I think it's fun, and I want to, get a little more power out of it or do whatever. And I
always worked on it. I worked on it. A lot of people come to my, what the heck are you doing today? Take the car apart. I'm trying something different. Camshaft. I got like 5 camshafts sitting home. I got 2 sets of cylinder heads. I mean, I just like tinkering. That's what I miss, and that's why I miss about drag racing.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun to me. It actually made me relax, but I had a good time.
Yep.
And nobody bothered me, and I let nobody tell me what I wanted to do. I did it what I wanted to do. If it was wrong, I learned by that.
Sure.
And if it was right, I don't brag about it. I just let it go. That's all. Same thing in drag racing. I never went around saying, I did this better, I tried that. I just did it because I wanted to do it. And whatever you want to say, go ahead. You can talk behind my back, do what you want. You ain't going to bother me one bit, because that's the way it goes. Right, Chris? You know how I am. I don't worry about it. I mean, I'm an honest person. That's the way it is.
We just got to find you a car.
Phil's real hard looking at it, too. Like I said, we'll see what happens. And like I said, I'm open. That's for sure. And I miss it. Like I said, it's one of my best passions is racing. Going this week was, like I said, I never left the stand. I didn't even go to the bathroom.
I would say I don't think you'll have a hard time finding. I mean, there's a plethora of good young racers around here too. I don't think you'll have a hard time finding somebody to basically from this area step up and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm the person that's suited to driving that car too, whoever that would be."
That's what I told somebody the other day I was talking to. He says, "You know what? Something will come my way, and if this is the way I look at it. If it happens, it does. If it doesn't, I'll work on it. I got time. I'm not going anywhere yet.
You're right.
So I got time floating around here somewhere. So I'll hang on to that.
Wow.
Go ahead, Chris.
I say you've been
awful quiet over in that corner.
Just listening, juggling everything, making sure that the levels stay good and everything.
I've been noticing too that you've been on air very little this evening. I think you got like 3 seconds of camera time, probably.
I haven't had to do anything. You guys have been handling it.
He's sitting there relaxing, enjoying yourself. You know what we need? You know what we need here? We need a nice big couch.
I'll show you the couch when we're done. We used to have a couch.
Then I'll come and hang out, but I don't want to talk.
We were over at the other building, over on the canal. We had a couch and then a big recliner.
I tell you, I like this. This is a very nice setup in here. I really enjoy this. This is really nice. I mean, I like the way you got this set up.
And what we need to do is we just need to convince more of the guys to make the trip out here every other Thursday.
That's what gets me.
Or every Thursday.
I would love to see them. I'm surprised they don't want to come on air. I mean, I can't see why they don't want to. I mean, it's giving them airtime. It's a lot of guys, I mean, these drivers are really good. They should be up here and talking about it.
I agree.
Why let it set?
Pete Dagnolo.
Pete would be good up here. And Sammy would go. It'd be good. Father and son sitting up here. I think that'd be a home run.
I agree.
I mean, and then the mom.
We'd have to move the couch back in.
I think that would be I think it's a great thing for him.
Pete would probably want to sit behind the shade over here so that he wasn't on camera.
Was really shy.
But there's a lot of guys out there that are good. I mean,
there are.
There's so many good drivers.
Maybe the problem is me. Maybe it's because people don't like me.
I remember.
I disagree.
I remember when I first started this. When I did the radio program with Chucky. Now, it's hard. This is even harder because they see you. When you do a radio program, they don't see it, so it's a lot easier.
It seems intimidating, but
it's not. And people got to realize this is just like drag racing. People are staring at you on that station line. And then the lanes.
The other thing is we've only done 21 of these now. We've done 21 of these, and 2 of them have been live, or 3 of them have been live on location, and one of those live was an absolute flop.
Well,
so we had to band-aid that back
though.
together. But that's that notwithstanding. Besides that, we've done 280 of the Crash Course shows in the studio, plus another 100 of them at large, and then we've done 180 of those, and then we're in like the 220s with the 31st lap with the circle track show, and it really, you get to a point where you don't even know this is there. I mean, you're just doing whatever.
I don't pay
attention. The nice part is having people to cut to. When you do stuff on your own, like a lot of times on 31st lap, I'm here solo. So if I get a question coming in through Facebook, I either have to turn this way and answer it, or I have to do this with my phone and answer it, and it breaks that attention. So that's a little bit about what I was doing over here. While you guys were riffing about everything under the sun, it's just kind of juggling everything, which makes it very easy when you have somebody to cut away to. And Jason's very able-bodied, which is nice. He can talk about drag for hours. I don't have anything to worry about.
If people are listening out there now from the area, they should try this. I mean, trust me, if I can do it, they can do it. But they race more than I do. I mean, I'm an old-timer. But these young guys, they should be doing it just to explain to people about racing. They could make these people out there understand more about it than I can.
Right.
So they should really come on air to do it, and it's great for them.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And you know, Chris mentioned, he goes, you do enough of these shows, and you don't really recognize, or you just don't realize that you have a camera and a microphone in front of you anymore. But really, I mean, it is just us sitting around talking about drag racing. That really all it is. I mean, there's no specific agenda. We're not doing a play. You can't forget your lines or anything like that.
You don't have. There's nothing to lines.
You can forget what a Plymouth Arrow is.
Once you hear 5 minutes, you don't even look at the camera because I forget it's here.
No.
So to me, it's just I think
a lot of the wrong thing. And if you do say the wrong thing, it's only out there forever on the internet.
That's right. That's right.
I'm good. I don't say nothing bad, but it'd be good for everybody out there, especially the racing community. It's a good thing for drag racing. I mean, it's good to have people in the studio that can talk more about the sport, which will help the sport. Another thing is that, like the guy who owns Umpire. He'd be a great person to come on.
Oh, yeah.
Some people like that need to come on to help promote their business and to make the track bigger. I was at the track and I said, man, this would be cool if they had go back like they used to have the old national meets or IHRA national.
Right.
It'd be nice to see that come back. That place would be wonderful. I mean, the land they have there, if they would fix it up, it's fixed, but to fix it up properly to make a IHRA national vet or an NHRA national vet would be a winning situation.
In terms of Jerry wanting to get near the camera, the microphone, we would have better luck getting him close to a 5-gallon pail full of hydrochloric acid balancing on a toothpick than we could get him near that camera.
That's probably true. Really? He's been very accommodating with us. I mean, very accommodating. But Jerry is he's more than happy to basically pass that off to Patrick.
And Pat Budd did an awesome job. I think he's been on 3 times.
So he has
a lot of fun.
Yeah. But not Jerry himself. Jerry wants no part of being behind the camera for whatever reason. But we need to get...
we did the Empire Banquet too. We did that last too. I forgot about that.
Jerry did?
No, we did.
Oh, yeah, we did. Right.
Went to the
they've done some nice work there. Like I said, I haven't been there in a while. It's really been a big change, and the facial change of the place has been pretty.
Yep, and the nice thing is that Jerry is not looking to actually make money with that track. He just wants it to break even so that he doesn't have to put his own money into it.
Back in.
I mean, he told me that he's basically, treating that as his retirement, right? So at the end of the day, when it's time for him to ride off in the sunset, all right, then he'll sell the property and that will be his retirement money. For now, as long as he doesn't have to put his own money into it, he's happy.
Stay open.
And, I mean, you got concession stands, you got lavatories, you got the new tower. I know they've made improvements to the PA, the timing system. I know on the docket is the new concession stand on the other side, and let's call it the spectator side. And I know that they're talking about doing improvements to the pavement as well, I think, this off-season. I mean, the number of improvements that he's made to that track have just been incredible, and it's really made it a nice place to race.
Well, the facelift of the place has picked up a lot, considering when I raced there.
Oh,
so I was sitting up in the stands. Like I said, I didn't leave, and I said, boy, it'd be nice to come here and see another national event.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, I think back to the Empire National days when they were out there, and it was just an incredible event to go to. And the excitement, now granted, I mean, there were it was really a perfect storm because of the fact that you had really let's call it the birth of Pro Modified just really happening at that point in time, and you had some local guys that were doing really, really well. It was really electric sitting in the grandstands to watch. It was pretty incredible. I would love to be able to capture that again if we could. Will we ever get there? I don't know. But for now, I'm real happy continuing to race out there and work with Jerry. And like I said, he's been a dream to work with. I work with him quite a bit because we have the West New York Super Rod Association, and so we're working on schedules and stuff like that. And he's just been great to work with. He really has been.
They run some Gasser programs there too.
They do.
I'd like to go. I wanted to go watch a Gasser program, and I have not. I want to go because I think they got one coming up, don't they? In a couple of weeks.
I believe they do.
I want to go check one of them out.
I don't think it might even be this weekend. It's possible.
Oh, really?
I do know that. I'm looking up the schedule right now. Yeah, I know that they have another one coming up here real soon.
Because I was out to Norwalk, and I went. They had called Blue Suede Shoes Cruise Night for the hot rods.
Yep.
And so I went out for a 3-day show they had for us, and they had gassers there on Saturday.
Yep.
I've never seen so. They had at least 250 gassers there. They had all different classes, and I really was amazed about that. It was amazing to see the old cars, and even came up to the newer type cars for gassers.
Right.
I had a great time with that.
So I was.
That Opal is one of the most impressive race cars I think I've ever seen.
The Opal?
The Opal, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because they cut it in half and narrowed the thing.
Right.
The one that was up at Finger Lakes Mall.
Oh,
that car was cool looking. I can't remember the guy's name. It was a father and a son that ran that team. They came down out. I think they came down out of Vermont to come as part of that part of the Finger Lake Speed World show. And man, that car was neat.
Yeah, that was a neat car. And I was right.
Opel GT.
Opel GT.
Yeah, they're racing this weekend. So
Saturday?
On Saturday is the Gassers plus the Nostalgia Pro Stock.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
now, they start that early in the morning?
No, actually. So gates now don't open until noon, and eliminations start. Well, let's call it time trial start at 2. Eliminations start at 5. Sunday morning is their early morning. They open at 9:30, I think, on Sunday. But Sunday is just a standard 8th mile, $1,000. Well, I shouldn't say standard. I mean, it's still $1,000 to win. But
everybody runs bracket race.
That's a bracket. Yeah, exactly. Yep. But the Gassers actually they have a bunch of races still. So this, like I said, this Saturday. Then they're back out there on Saturday, September 9th, again with the Nostalgia Pro Stocks and the TNT 1090 series. And then they're back out there again on the 23rd of September with the Nostalgia Pro Stock guys. So, there's going to be plenty of opportunities to see the Gassers.
Yeah. Because I'd like to get out there. I want to see one, but I don't know if I'll be able to make it this week. I'm going to try. I got to make it Sunday over to Savannah. South Butler. Got to meet your dad.
I think that's the last one of the year for them.
Oh, is it really?
I think so.
So I'd like to get out there, so I'm definitely going to meet that. Saturday, I have a commitment.
Actually, I'm wrong. They might have one in September because they did June, July, August. I think they got one more in September, don't they? They only run 4 times a year out there.
4 times. I don't know if this is the last or not.
I think they got one.
I think they have 3. Yeah, they got one more. I think.
Okay.
I think it's the end of September or something.
Now, when was the last time you were out at South Butler?
Oh golly. Well, I shouldn't say oh golly. I went out there when they opened it up 4 or 5 years ago. They reopened it again.
Yeah.
They had the hot rods that could come out there too. So I went out there to support it. So I went out with my car. They had like 75, 80 cars there, but the drag cars, they had a ton of them. They had a ton of just plain guys out there beating the car up. Kind of different, you know what I mean? No money, no nothing.
Right.
I thought it was kind of cool. Just people take the street car and go out and have fun.
Sure.
but when you look at the track and you go back and you think about it, you sit there and go, wow, how'd we do it? It's such a narrow track. And we were going pretty quick back then.
Yeah.
I mean, it's whoa, how'd we do it? I mean, I don't know if I take a chance at it now, but for the cars the way they do it now, it's kind of fun. It's kind of, it brings you back.
Yep. I have to
Brings
say,
you back to reality where you came from.
I have to say, I definitely want to get out there and see one of these events too. I don't know if I'll be able to on Sunday or not, but yeah, hopefully before the year's out. Hopefully they do run at least one more, and I can mark
There's
it
one more on September 24th. Yeah,
we'll have to go.
This is the third
And
one.
when is it?
September 24th.
September 24th. Okay, all right. And that's a Sunday again?
Yeah.
Okay.
All their schedule was on Sunday.
It's always Sundays. Okay.
Yeah, they're doing a pretty good job. And the guys that do it, they're old drag racers, and Billy and them are pretty good. And they have a lot of fun. They have a lot of fun out there. So that's the thing.
Yeah, did we have them in the studio?
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, we had Randy and Randy. There was Racing Randy and Rapid Randy.
Yes,
you had
yes,
Racing Randy on?
Yes.
He's on a lot on programs. He has a little thing with Tulio and them.
Yeah, I knew we had talked to them. I couldn't remember if we actually had them in the studio or not, but yeah, we need to, like I said, I'm going to make a pitch, try and get more guys to come out here in the studio, because that's what we need. We need more guys. We need more guys in the studio.
More people should come out here, because this is very nice. It's very relaxing, and it is good to sit here and just bounce back and forth to you two guys and talk.
Right.
And especially drag racing guys, it's good for them.
And if you play your cards right, you'll get free beer afterwards.
Ooh, golly, that sounds even better, I think.
No, but on that note, it's been fun.
That's it. Going home now. See you guys. So this is a good experience. I really am glad I came on here. I haven't seen Chris in a long time.
I'm glad that as long as
I was in tears when I see him, because we go back a long ways. And he was, like I said, when I first started doing the radio program, he was there. He started doing little articles about it, and he made me feel good about doing what I did, And I guess that helped
shirts?
Me. Huh?
You used to have the Hawaiian shirts. The Hawaiian shirts?
The Hawaiian shirts. I still got them. In fact, I was going to wear one of them. I'm not doing it. I haven't worn one of them since I left the track. Right. I got them. I was going to wear them when I go cruising, and I don't do that no more. I just dress up regular dress shirts, and I keep them because it's memory.
Sure.
It's just part of me. I got some dirt shirts I still keep. It's just like anything. I got stuff from my drag racing days I've never worn. Just let it sit.
Right.
Yeah. That's
Chris,
kind of cool.
There was something that did not happen tonight. Did you notice?
That camera didn't freeze up. I noticed that.
Oh, that camera? Yeah.
That camera didn't even get turned on. I noticed that camera froze up once, and I had to come and fix it. Then when I fixed it, I didn't leave it straight. I noticed that we didn't have anybody complaining about our conversations online, and my phone didn't ring about any Derby people. So I don't know what I missed, but I noticed those things didn't happen.
The train.
We didn't have the train.
We did not have a train tonight.
I told the train it can't come until after 7.
Yeah, maybe that's it, right? Maybe we've gotten big enough now that they realize
we
got
their schedule. So we're not interrupted by that.
Yeah, we're not on front, but no train tonight, which is good.
Well, hopefully everybody enjoyed the show.
I love the show,
with or without the train.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it. It's very
cameo.
nice. It's very relaxing. You guys are awesome. This is fun.
Well, we'll have you back on for sure.
Oh, we gotta get some. I gotta get some guys from the track. They'll come.
Well,
if they're out there listening, trust me, it's worth coming here, guys.
I think we have a recruiter possibly that's volunteering here.
I would go out and tell them they should come.
Or you should just come out here more often. Meet up with Jason and come out here.
I'll come and bring pizza and wings. That's what I'll do, because I gotta get heavier. No, I'm not doing that.
Jeez, what are you doing? Yeah, this was a easy lifting episode for me. I didn't have to do a whole lot.
Well, that's good. It's good to be. It's good.
I got to sit back and be a producer. It's nice.
That's even better, isn't it? Nice to sit back, relax. That's nothing wrong with that. Actually, that's
I remember
great.
calling into your radio show on WACK.
Remember when we
Oh yeah, I remember. Yep.
I love that program. I liked it. I wish I never gave it up now.
Because that was on Sundays, and we would recap.
No, we were on Mondays.
It was on Mondays. That's right, and we would recap. We'd go through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah.
Everything.
And Chris was right on the ball. We had a good time with it. I loved it. I mean, that was a good time. I haven't listened to it since I left. Not even.
Is it still on the air?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know.
Because you guys were on. You guys were on at the same time that Chuck Barnell was on.
No, Chuck and me did it together. Well, me and
Mike Ward.
Mike down in the beginning. Chuck did his own on. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, a different night.
That was Track Talk, right?
Yeah, it did it a different hour. So then me and Mike did it for a couple, 4 or 5 years, And then I went and me and Chuck started doing it again, which is great. And then I did my T-shirts and stuff, and that was great. But see, I like this. I would rather do a program like that now, but also bring in hot rods, drag racing, and dirt racing, which would fill into everybody's, surroundings. Everybody has a little piece of the pie. And I think it would help the drag racing guys, would help the dirt guys, because you could all talk about what each other, their interests are, instead of just.
I respectfully disagree with that.
You do disagree with that?
I do, because you don't have. There's not. You're one of the only people that I've ever met, and I'm up to like maybe meeting 5 or 6 in person.
Okay.
Where the lines blur in the type of motorsport. You're either a dirt track oval racer, or you're an asphalt oval racer, or you're a drag racer. Those lines don't blur.
See, and
very
I think
often.
that's wrong.
And to try and put those two shows in the same thing, you're gonna have people that are tuning in for the first half or the back half, and they're not gonna listen to the whole thing.
See, and I think
if they listen,
you're right there, because I'm not good at what's called Facebook, and I'll put hot rods on there. And
yeah, no, it's really cool that I messaged you like 30 times through Facebook. You meet Jason one time, and you can't. You race here.
and I go on the site. They put hot rods on it, and I put a lot of them, custom cars or whatever, blah blah blah. And then I look, and there's 8 million dirt cars on there, and I go, I want to sit there and say this to the people: isn't there more than going in a circle? Isn't there more than going straight? Can't you just all realize that the sports are great? Be passionate to both, not just the one.
Those people,
your brain has to go more than circles. Your brain has to go more than straight.
Those people that you're talking to are saying, "Well, how much talent does it take to go to a straight line?"
Well, they're wrong.
I'm not.
How much talent? Now you got me going. Now, how much talent does it take going to a circle? I'm 70 years old. I bet you I can go in a circle. And I'm not bad-mouthing, but I'm saying it's each sport has their own identity.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to separate it. But you also have to say, you know what? I raced my car going in a circle.
Didn't Mark Manudolo want to put you into street stock once or something?
No, I don't think. Maybe, I don't know.
I thought you told me a story about that.
But you know what I'm saying? In this sport of all these racing and drag racing, it's all the same basic. It's all. Get along and enjoy it. When I drag race all over, if I was a drag strip, I went to it. And if there was a dirt track close to that area, I went to it. At night, I went. I don't understand why everybody's got to have a blinder on for sports like that.
Because if you drive in circles, you're stupid.
I just can't figure it out. I sit there and I'm a firm believer you should all get along with everything.
I come from a family that didn't blur those lines at all. And I have to say that I have more respect, I think, for the different styles of motorsports, certainly than my dad or my uncle did. I mean, especially my dad. My dad had zero interest in going out to circle track races.
NASCAR's boring, going in circles makes you dizzy, and drag racing's fast. What one do you want?
Yeah, it really wasn't.
Truthfully, I like them all, but drag racing is my fame. So you can't get me where I'm not different than anybody else, but I love all the sport. I mean, I like Indy cars, but I'm not a fan of them. But I'll go watch them because I think it's cool.
Sure,
but if I have my choice, I'll stay with the drag racing.
Indy cars,
but I'd rather go to dirt racing if I got choices too. So
Formula One,
NASCAR's okay, but it's getting boring because the cars they're all the same. There's nothing to them no more.
It's not like when you started watching it, when the cars weren't cookie cutters and there was personalities like to fight.
Then they were good. Their car come out there, you can go to the store and buy a car and go take the feathers and race it. But now it's all the same.
The drivers had some personalities. The drivers actually worked on their cars.
Same thing with dirt races. The cars are all the same. I take a person to a race that's never been to a dirt race. They don't know the difference between a sportsman and a modified. Well, you try to explain it to them.
Right.
And, the sport, to me, everything's cool. But I think some sports, drag racing, everything changes. Cars all revolve. They're all getting either better or more fancier. There's always a progression of something getting better.
But a casual fan from the outside looking in isn't going to recognize
the difference
that's what's between
wrong.
A sportsman and a big block modified unless they're paying attention to tire size. From the outside, visually, a casual fan, they're going to see the same car. A sportsman car and a big block modified are visually the same to an untrained eye.
Yeah, I think
the biggest difference is that you can see from the outside looking in is the tires are smaller.
That's right. It's
drag racing suffers from the same thing.
Yes, it does. Our conversations off air about trying to figure out what cars are where, Jason has often struck me backhanded. Because I'm dumb, asking dumb questions.
Well, I guarantee you're talking about throttle stops and the way they stop. And that is a hard thing to understand. I taken. Let's see. Last year I took like 20 people to a drag race. All right, never been to one in their life. And when they got the throttle stop and slow down, take off and boom, stop. They don't understand, which is a hard thing, and I understand where he's coming from. It's hard.
It is hard.
It's very hard to understand. That no matter if you're a dirt racer or IndyCar racer, whatever it is, you're going to have a hard time understanding that piece.
And as a super gas racer, I will sit here
and you can explain it.
Well, I can explain it,
yes.
but I'll also proclaim to everybody that it's stupid. I hate it. I really do.
Because
it's a tool.
It's got a shelf life, too.
It's a tool that is necessary now to be competitive, but
Yeah.
I wish that we would get rid of all electronics and go back to super gas the way it was, because the cars were so much more exciting to watch.
But you know,
Well,
when it
that's
first,
now.
No, but when it first started, I thought it would end quick because I really thought it was just something. But it's gotten progressively better, bigger.
Oh,
I mean,
definitely
it's getting
bigger.
more expensive, which
that's-
I'm not. But what sport isn't getting expensive?
But that's
the computer age
it's
drives
crazy,
me
Rod.
nuts.
I mean, these guys now are building 1,200, 1,300 horse motors.
Yeah,
to
to
run
slow down.
990 to slow
To
them
slow
down and
down.
put more time in their throttle stop so they can run 990 at 170 miles an hour. It's stupid. It's silly. It really
But
is.
that's every sport. You look at a dirt car; they buy these big motors to go on dirt, and then they can go that much faster.
Right.
It's all in the chassis.
Right.
So they're wasting money.
right.
They are really wasting money. If they're out there, they're saying he's wrong. But you know what? All you have to do is take a small motor, put it in, and go almost as quick.
right.
For half the money.
Right.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure somebody's wrong here.
The only thing I will say is that with super gas, let's call it super gas racing, super gas, super street, super comp, I mean, there is an advantage to being the faster car. So
Yeah.
I get why guys do it, but it just seems so silly to me. It's like,
But back
man,
to the crux of the conversation is visually, can you tell the difference between those standing in the pits and just walking by pit stalls?
No.
the Sportsman cars?
Between the three classes that you just said.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. You can tell the difference.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. You definitely can tell the
where
difference.
To the casual fan, to the untrained eye, they
Yeah,
are
and
noticeably
even I'll
different.
say the pro classes. I mean, you can tell the difference between the three pro classes, right? Top Fuel, Funny Car, and Pro Stock. You walk by each one, and you know what
totally different.
They all look totally different.
Yeah.
But once you get inside that class, every single one of those cars is exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
They have different paint jobs on them, different wraps, but otherwise, you couldn't tell one car from the next. And it's like, oh, here comes Greg Anderson is in Chevy Camaro, and it's like next up is Alan Johnson and his Dodge Dart or whatever the heck he's driving these days. It's like, really, they both look like bubbles. They're wrapped different, but they both look like bubbles.
It's like NASCAR, same thing. They all look the same bubble. They're all basically the same type car.
And I've
The
heard,
Chevy Cobalt.
I've heard, and I have to say, I've heard the sanctioning bodies, NASCAR, IHRA, they're all saying the same thing. It's like, oh well, viewership is down. It's like, the economy's not as good, and blah blah blah. It's not because of any of that. It's because it's boring. That's why people aren't going to the track. That's why they're not watching. It's because it's boring.
He's right. You know what's wrong though? The biggest thing about drag racing is I think it's changed the whole thing, time wise. You go to a track, you're there at 9 in the morning, and you're there at 7 at night. It's too long of a day. It really is. It's way too long. They need to drop it down to maybe 4 hours a day. But I know it's hard to do. But I always said a long time ago, what they should do is take the pro categories, let them run on one day, and the Sportsman and the bracket cars on another day. Mm-hmm. Same national event, different weekends maybe.
Right.
Just to make it a little bit more simplified so people can come there and spend money. Plus, it wouldn't be as much the way they do it.
Sure.
I mean, it's getting expensive. Number one, NASCAR drag racing is getting very expensive to go to. It's not cheap. I just got tickets for us to go. And it ain't cheap.
Give it 2 or 3 years, and those prices are going to come back down
Oh,
to the
yeah.
stratosphere.
Well,
Because
it's
when they're
got
tearing
to
down
somehow.
grandstands at those super speedways because nobody's buying seats for them. That's going to self-correct.
I mean, Bristol was last week, and I couldn't believe it when I turned the race on. And I mean, it used to be that you couldn't get a ticket to one of the Bristol races, and I would say it looked like Bristol was maybe 80% full. It's like I was shocked, honestly. With drag racing, there's just so many things. Qualifying now is a joke.
Yes.
They only get 16 cars. So why are we even qualifying? Why is NHRA showing a 3-hour-long qualifying show? Because at the end of the day, qualifying makes no difference. Everybody gets in.
They're all in. It's the whole thing about professional categories in NHRA is total waste nowadays. They put all their emphasis in just them 3 classes, which is wrong. It totally is. You got the people that are really funding that whole thing are the sportsman classes. You know, and a long time ago, I'm not gonna say what. I remember I got together with people from the West Coast. We were all talking to Indy, and they wanted to boycott to run with them. And I think if they were smart, we should have all done that. But see, there's too many people afraid. You know what they keep saying? Somebody else will come and take. So let them take that spot. I mean, somebody has to make a stand, okay, in any kind of racing. It's like I always said in dirt racing. When I used to hang out there, and I told them, you're not paying these guys enough money. And they said, they always told me, you know what, Rodney, if you ran a track, they'd break you because you do whatever them drivers want. I said, no, I wouldn't. But I guarantee you, I'd figure out how to make money for them and me. There's a way of doing it. You can't be a greedy person.
Rodney, remember NDTRA?
Yeah. But there's a lot of wrong there. I try to stay out of the dirt stuff now.
There's a lot of wrong in the dirt track stuff?
Well, in any sport there is. But I think in drag racing, considering most of the guys that race local and stuff like that, I like that. Because they don't have to travel. They don't have to go through all the high-dollar crap.
Well, and I have to say that, one of the things, there's a reason why all of these little local series have popped up. So, Western New York Super Rod Association, TNT, the Gasser Racing Series.
It's a good thing.
The 470. What was that?
Mustangs on
Moms, the 470, right? There's a reason why, and it's because guys have figured out, you know what? We can basically self-fund our own series. Mm-hmm. We can race in our backyard. We don't have to spend the bazillion dollars to travel someplace. And what's even crazier is at the end of the day, the payout is going to be better than it would be if I went to a big NHRA event.
It's a lot better now to stay home.
Which I agree with that.
100% behind you on that because the guy that stays home nowadays and races is better off than travel. The guy that travels like the Indy. If you don't win, you ain't making no money.
Oh,
no. Not no more because now there's no money coming back in for class or anything, so you're not getting nothing. What good's the product going to do?
Rod, this is you and I have had this conversation in the towers at Canandaigua, how it's great for a while when you have all those individual series that crop up, or you have the tracks that develop their own rules. But when the people start going out of it, then the racers don't have anybody to race against. And nobody else can come in because your rules become so specific because you have these little changes and you try and take care of your drivers. You try and be a good promoter. You try and be a good track manager. That you give these guys more or less what they want. And as long as you're protecting them from themselves and keeping their budgets in check, you can do that. And you create this little nucleus of racers that works great at your track, but it can't go anyplace else. They have now a purpose-built race car for one set of rules. The nice part about drag racing is things are so flexible, but the conversation like this here with dirt track, and I can see other places where this can turn into a trap. BRP Can-Am late models was a prime example from back in the mid-2000s.
Yeah.
They could only run against themselves. They couldn't run against pro stocks because they weren't competitive, and they couldn't run against the super stocks at Outlaw. Well, then it was Black Rock and Dundee Raceway because those guys had such powerful motors. They couldn't go anyplace else. They couldn't go enter a dirt pro stock series race when they came to town, so they were so purpose-built that they were packed into a corner. And that's one of the dangers that I see with the little series when they pop up, or when tracks start to develop their own pocket of racers and stuff, is you've now got to go all in on this, or it is going to falter, and it's a slippery slope once you get there.
Oh, it's a hard thing, especially in dirt racing. It's very hard because it's just, I don't believe in this rule stuff in dirt like the guy. You don't want to get me into this. Trust me. Leave me out of this whole conversation. I'm staying out of it. Because, number one, I just don't believe in certain things. I want
to watch Rod's race series. No rules.
No. There'd be rules. But
no rules, 10,000 to win, 10,000 to start. Perfect.
Right. I believe you got to have rules. Let me be honest. The rules now, there's no rules. They don't check nothing. They don't check a doggone thing in dirt racing that much.
But what's drag racing like the local level?
I mean, very little gets checked there as well.
There's a rule book,
there you
but
go.
what gets checked?
Nobody checks nothing.
Right.
How many times? I don't know. I have. You know what? I really don't like to talk too much about things I haven't been around. But I wonder how many times a crate motor's been checked. How much does anything get checked? How many big modified motors? How many of them are too big? How many?
Right.
All right. There's no tech no more. The good people are gone.
Well, I mean, one of the problems is that, and you look at the IHRA race from this past weekend. I don't know how many officials that they sent there, but they just don't have the revenue to be able to pay the people to enforce the rules. So I'm going to take, I don't know about stock and super stock. I literally have no idea. I'm going to guess for hot rod, which is a 2,600 pound minimum weight. I don't know this again because I didn't race in hot rod. And maybe somebody will chime in here online and tell me that I was wrong. I'd be surprised if they weighed any of those cars. And not that it makes a difference. It really doesn't, in my opinion, because of the fact that you're still on a 1090 index and you can't go quicker than that.
True.
But in the rule book, it's a 2,600 pound weight limit. And I'm guessing not one of those cars got weighed this weekend.
Well, you know what? If they have a weight limit, they should be checked. But I agree with that.
I agree.
But I don't understand that ruling because you're still sitting your car for a bracket.
Didn't Pete Maduri talk about in one of the races he was at where he had done really well?
Bypassed the scales.
Then he passed the scales.
Yeah.
Full circle there.
Some of that, like that to me, is ridiculous because you're running 1090, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. So what's the difference in the weight? Really, what's the difference? They all got different motors. One's got a small block, one's got a big block, one doesn't turn the iron.
Right.
I don't understand their reasoning. Maybe I'm wrong, but
well, that's a nice thing about the TNT series that Ted Barnes runs locally is that he basically has no minimum weight and allows left-hand steer roadsters so that the super gas cars can compete in his series as well. And is there an advantage to having a slightly less heavy car? Okay, yeah, you could argue it because now you can make your car go a little bit faster, right? But
you can get it moving easier too. Up off the line.
But it's not really that much of an advantage. It really isn't.
I don't know if that would make I mean, like I said, the new technology in drag racing, it's really leaps and bounds got really good, and it's I really can't say like you just said if you go in 1090 or 990, the weight make a difference. It's got to make some, but base it out. You do anything else with the car you want to do. So why spend the money to have somebody down the scale for something like that? Let it go.
I don't know what the lightest super gas car was there this weekend with the driver in it. I mean, it's 2,600 pounds with driver, right? I would guess that the lightest super gas car out there with driver this past weekend was probably, let's say, 2,200 pounds. I can't. Phil's Camaro is pretty light.
Yeah,
I think his
light.
car is 2,150 without me in it. So you throw me in, and I'm still 2,300 pounds.
Yeah.
So, okay, theoretically, I'd be 0.3 of a second faster than a comparably equipped hot rod car. It's really not that much different. I mean, you're not talking about seconds different because I'm 300 pounds lighter. So, yeah, from my perspective, I don't see the advantage. But again, it's in the rule book. So if it's in the
it's
100
in the rule
pounds
book. But
equates
some
to a tenth of a
drivers will
second.
probably agree that they don't like to be on the scale. Then there's a lot of them probably say, yeah, I want to go on the scale. And I can understand both sides of that scale. But I get confused because I think you're better off just, if you're building a car for 990, let it go there. Safe car, as long as it's safe, passes inspection, that's all that counts. Let it go.
Right. Yeah. And for the most part, I mean, that's true. I will say in super gas, I mean, they don't weigh us in super gas, even though there's a 2,100 pound weight limit, basically because they realize that, it's pretty much impossible to get a door car or a roadster at 2,100 pounds with under 2,100 pounds with a driver in it, right? So they don't even bother weighing it.
Right.
But, it's easy to get under 2,600, and NHRA and Super Street, they're at 2,800. But NHRA still, I will say, they still weigh the Super Street cars. I don't know about the divisional level. It's been a long time since I've been at a division level for NHRA, but national level they still do. IHRA used to, because like Pete Maduri, I bypassed the scales one time qualifying, didn't realize that I had to stop at the scales, and I wasn't on the qualifying sheet. I'm like, what the heck? They called me up to the tower at the very last minute. They're like, well, you skip the scale, so that's why you're not on there. But like I said, I know that they were weighing the stockers and super stockers on Saturday morning, I guess it was.
At the race this week?
Yes. I don't think it was Friday. I think it was Saturday morning, but maybe it was Friday during the tech. I don't know. Yeah. But like I said, I'm fairly certain they didn't weigh any of the hot rod cars. And again, then you get into some of the bigger, well, I won't say bigger, but some of the other more difficult rules. they just don't have the personnel to be able to
the
enforce
personnel's
it.
not there.
I mean, that's the biggest problem. And same at the local track. I mean, at local track, it's like, yeah, you can give the car a quick once-over, make sure it looks safe to go down the track, but you start talking about, okay, does this guy have, a Davis traction control system hidden someplace? It's like, you can't, get under these cars and search them.
You can't.
They just don't have the resources.
Yeah, there's not enough people around to do it and take care of that. But that's the hard part about drag racing. But you know what? That's one thing I can say. NHRA has a good, efficient crew. They're very good. Their tech is really hard.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're very thorough.
They're
right up on their game.
Oh yeah, they're thorough.
And I haven't done it in a while, but I talked to people the last 3-4 weeks, and they're up on their game.
Yeah, they're thorough, but still, I mean, if you're trying to hide a traction control system or a Matty box or any other, there are certain
it's
MSDs.
Hard to find that stuff.
There are certain MSDs that have the traction control built into them, and there are other MSDs that don't. And the only difference really is the part number. If you look at it from the outside and the labeling, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that you take the guts out of one, you put it in the other, and there you go, you're done, right?
The same thing in dirt. They're doing all that stuff. It's a game. It's who's smart enough to catch them. That's the thing. It's like any racing.
But I guess here it is from my perspective, right? From my perspective, at least racing locally, what's my motivation to go out and cheat?
It's not worth it.
From my perspective, it really isn't, just because of the fact that what am I winning here? Are we talking about life-changing money that I'm going to win at the end of the night? No. And am I going to feel good about myself standing on the podium or standing in the winner's circle getting my picture taken, as the cheater winner? No.
As long as nobody knows.
No.
As long as nobody knows.
But see, yeah, I'm right. You're right. I would not want to cheat.
Right. I know. And then again, at the end of the day, we're talking about winning, $1,000, $1,500. It's like, who cares? Okay, yay, you won the $1,500. Congratulations. I mean, everybody wants to win, but to the point where I'm going to cheat. I mean, maybe I'm naive to think this. There is nobody out at Empire that I believe to be cheating. Now, like I said, maybe I'm just naive to think that. Maybe I'm naive to think that people are good enough and honest enough that they realize, I realize nobody checks this stuff, but I'm not going to do it. But I just don't think that cheating is prevalent at the local level.
I don't think it's. I wouldn't say there was nobody doing it, but because there's always somebody always wants to be better than you, no matter what, and they'll take that gamble of doing it. It's just and they don't care. But maybe like me and you, I want to be when I go racing, I want to be fair and square up on top.
Right.
And if I beat, I beat. If I don't, I go home. I don't. But I know if I win, I'm going to win not by cheating. I did it even when I was younger.
And obviously, $1,000 means a lot more to my 21-year-old son than it does to me, right? It's not that I want to light the $1,000 on fire, but
but don't burn it. Don't burn it.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, I guess there are people that could potentially do it, but I don't know. Like I said, maybe it's just me in denial that I just don't want to believe that there are people out there cheating.
It's the new age now with all the computer stuff and stuff,
I think
I start thinking there's a lot you can do in drag racing.
Oh, there definitely is.
Definitely have an edge.
From a bracket racing standpoint.
Computer people out there.
Oh, from a bracket racing standpoint, I know darn well that I could make a car basically run 990 repeatedly all the time, using a variety of different sensors and essentially an onboard computer. And now, does anybody check that locally? No.
I doubt it.
Now, that's not going to be a inexpensive endeavor to put together. I mean, you're going to be talking about some fairly expensive sensors and stuff like that. But let's say, all right, it cost you $5,000, $10,000 to put a system like that together. Well, now if you start going to the $1 million bracket races, and you can win those things because your car runs super consistent, well, that's a good return on your investment.
Even if you run local races, like you have a couple series races at different tracks, you could pick up $5,000-$6,000 here and there, $7,000.
Oh, sure.
$10,000. You can make some good money at the end of the year by the few little changes.
Yep.
Like I said,
all it takes is money.
It takes money
for
everything.
All it takes is money.
Right.
It takes money to do anything like that. But is it right? If you feel it's right in your pocketbook, God bless you. But if you go home and say you're the winner, you're really not.
No.
Maybe nobody else knows, but you know in your heart.
Oh, yeah.
You did wrong.
That's exactly it. So are we doing this show as a 2-part series? Are we going to do?
No, it's live.
Well, I know it's all been live, but
we're still on the air.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought we were off. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I did not know.
Actually, I've cued the outro 3 times, and then you shut up.
Oh, I did not know that. I thought we were just talking. I'm glad you say that.
I was thinking we got about 3 more minutes. Otherwise, it's going to take forever to load.
Why?
The MP3 part. I think that maybe that's where we got confused last week. Is the MP3 is the recording? That's just the audio only track that's available on iTunes and all that other stuff.
Yep.
That's what has to be loaded after the show's over. This streams live to YouTube, and it's up there forever once it streams live.
Oh, okay.
So we've been live for the last 2 hours.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, cool. I like it. I could stay here all night and talk, but I thought we were off the air. And I was going to say some good stuff, but I figured I'm glad I didn't now. I'm really happy.
But the video stream from last week was that
the video stream last week was corrupted because the signal was so poor.
Right.
We were trying to stream faster than what the signal would support,
right.
Which was we were streaming at like basically 1/3 the speed of smell trying to get it up there. It was going so slow and it still couldn't support it. So we recorded it locally, and I got here because they had changed the locks downstairs, so I had to get here early so that we could get in. And while I was here in the interim, we loaded the other one up, and it took 20 minutes to get the other one up there using the connection here, and we were good to go. So the other one is still up there if everybody wants to, but all the links that are connected to episode 20 from Empire Dragway on IMCA weekend direct to the local record and upload.
Okay.
So it should play smooth. There should be no issues
perfect.
there. And then tonight we've had no issues again.
Well,
that's good. I'm here. That's why.
That's right. Yeah.
Good luck, John.
Yeah,
Good
well,
luck,
we never
John.
have any issues from the studio, I don't believe.
Nope, right there.
Oh, hey,
There
look.
comes a train.
Here comes a train.
A little late, isn't it?
It's very late. Yeah,
Wow.
it's very late.
So,
about 2
how
hours
long
late.
you go for now? As long as can you do this as long as you want?
We could do this.
Well, the thing is there's a finite the audience base is finite. You know, they're
Right.
only going to watch for so long.
So
and-
long. And
yeah.
I mean, right there, as soon as Jason said, "Well, we never have any problems," the train showed up, which is the first time that we were here. We were in the middle of the show, and the train horns are blasting through in the background. People turn off after about an hour.
Yeah, I would
the
say.
MP3 gets a lot of hits when people are traveling places. We have people that travel to work or they're traveling for work or whatever. They'll pop it in their MP3 player and they'll listen to it between their destinations.
Oh, that's
we
pretty
have a lot of people that listen to it in their cars, and then we have some people, which I frown on, as they put in headphones and they listen to it while they're driving. I don't think that they should have earbuds in when they're driving.
I
but
agree.
Well, I
That's
really enjoy this.
second to it.
This is awesome. I've had a great time here. And I just hope more people start coming on the air and talking to you guys about what their cars are and doing things.
I'll start strong arming them.
Yeah.
You'll do it. You get it.
We'll get them.
You'll get them all. I mean, this is people out there listening to me. Trust me, you'd love to do this. It's unique and it's very nice and they're very
You
good
talk them
guys.
into coming, and you come with them.
Pardon?
You talk them into coming, and then you can come with them, and then they can just sit there and be quiet. You can talk
Can
for
I
them.
sit
It'll
and
work
shut
out.
up?
Huh?
Can I sit down and just watch? I'll come if I can just sit and hang
What'll
out.
happen is Rod's done this before. I'm just gonna sit down on the sideline and be quiet, and he starts with a laugh, a really loud laugh, and then he starts with "That's not right," or he'll chime in with "I agree because," and then he ends up getting up and standing next to the person with the microphone and leaning in, and then within 15 minutes of the show, he has a chair, has their microphone, and they're sitting there quietly waiting for the show to end.
I really miss this. I mean, it's a lot of fun. I mean, I think it's fun. I mean, it's you don't even pay attention to the camera or nothing. So it's
Right.
great. I like it. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've done this stuff. But if it brings other people in, I'm happy for that. And if even though I'm not in the light of racing as much as I have been in the past, I still believe in it 100% in any type of racing. But this is a great thing you guys are doing. And like I say, Chris is a sweetheart. You're awesome. So I know Chris for a long time. So
You hear
I
that,
can't wait
everybody?
to see his
I'm
dad this weekend.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's right. I am awesome.
Yeah, he's a good racer.
Yep.
Yeah, tell all the competitors that were beating up on me this weekend that. See, I was thinking we could break this down into 2 episodes. That way, we could, keep people interested for 2 1-hour shows.
Now you break this half. You can break this up.
I don't know. That's up to the technical guru over there.
Oh, well, this is a very. I'll tell you what. This is very enjoyment. This is very nice. I'm so happy you two let me come in, and I really love it.
Well, good.
Good.
Yeah.
Like I said, we just got to get. You can help us get some of the super stock guys.
I wish they'd come in. There's so many good drivers out there.
Well, I mean,
you got to get Phil here, Mike Gunther.
Right.
You got to get Dagnolas in. You got to get them guys. I mean, Lance Pinto. I mean, there's so many guys. Johnny, everybody.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's nice.
There's a lot of guys out there. If you're listening, please come on in. You'll really have a good time.
I mean, you had mentioned Chuck Camella.
Chucky's a great guy.
So it's like
Him and Steve, they'd be good.
Yeah, I agree.
If he's out there, I hope he thinks about. You know what, Chuck? If you're out there, come on in. I'll come with you. We can go out to dinner
there
afterwards.
We go. And
That'd
now,
be nice.
Now maybe you can convince Phil to come in too, because you can tell him, hey, you know what? It's actually not that bad.
We could
Phil.
go eat, Phil. What's wrong with
Right.
that? I mean, it's a win-win situation. Come on in. That'd be kind of cool. That would be great.
Yeah, it was a good show.
It was very good, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet, man. No problem.
Taking your time up
got,
and having a good time. I enjoy this whole thing.
You're welcome to come in anytime. Appreciate it. Rod McNeil, soon to be a drag racer again, but soon to be a drag racer again. Jason, always good to see you.
Good to see you too, Chris.
Appreciate you coming in. That's going to do it for this one from the FingerLakes1.com studios here at the North Park building in Academy Square. We appreciate everybody tuning in and watching with us. It's been a good one. 2-hour episode. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Cool. All done?
This has been the Final Round Drag Racing Podcast, coming to you live from the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. We'll see you right back here again in 2 weeks. Thanks for watching.
No one comes in after us on Thursdays. The only problem is on the 2-hour shows is we can't go on Finger Lakes television now, FCC, because we only have an hour and a half on the so 2 hours don't go on. If I had done a fake ending and restarted it in the middle, we would have been okay. We probably could have done.
So the last half's not on TV or whatever you're doing.
It's
It's on YouTube, but yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
It's not on the community television.
Why, it's on